Welcome back to Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. I'm Zach. With me today is my good friend George.
Hello.
This is Series 1, Episode 40, and today we are doing our full discussion on Deadpool and Wolverine from July 26, 2024. After we discuss the movie, we'll figure out where to place it in our MCU movie ranking, and our mission to figure out which one is absolutely the best.
It's gonna be Endgame for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
You can't stop though.
Yes, no, for sure.
As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers. Let's see. Do you want to go first on the movie memories, or should I?
I can go because I was definitely hyped to see this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed Deadpool 1. I was somewhat let down by Deadpool 2 because it was okay, as excited as I was to see Cable and to see Domino and to see X-Force hit the screen. And so hearing that Wolverine was joining the crew or joining the franchise was exciting. Mm-hmm. Also because I think it was announced that Disney had started acquiring Fox and the Fox properties, right?
Yep.
So Deadpool coming over was pretty exciting. So I enjoyed it. At least when I don't remember when I saw it exactly, but I saw it pretty early after what is it called when a movie debuts?
Premiere?
I guess the debut, premiere. Yeah. I think I saw it after you did though. But yeah.
Maybe.
I tried watching. Did you try watching the commentary version?
I did. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I did not have an issue with it.
Oh, I had to turn it off.
That's funny.
Because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just kind of Ryan Reynolds out. This whole Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni thing. I know more about that thing than I need to because of all the headlines. And then, I don't know. It kind of just felt like it was a lot of Sean Levy gargling Ryan Reynolds' balls in that commentary.
There is some of that. I didn't think it was that bad. So for me, the commentary. Yeah. All right, jumping ahead. Sorry, were you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I mean I'm still pretty excited. I still was excited to rewatch the movie because I was really curious how well it held up from the initial fanboy reaction that I definitely had. So yeah, okay. Go for it.
So I saw it once in the theater before we did the quick take, and I think I was ill when I went and saw. Like I wasn't sure I was going to make it. Right, I remember there's something about that. And then I saw it again a little bit after we did the quick take because I wanted to like it better. It's not like I didn't like it. I had some hangups with it, and I wanted to see it again and see if I still had those hangups. And I do recall liking it a little bit better then. And then I've watched it. I don't know if I did another rewatch between that and watching it again for the show, the podcast. But I did watch it. I did watch it 2 more times for this episode, once normal and once with the commentary from director Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds. I was expecting Ryan Reynolds to be more or less in character and kind of be annoying, but he wasn't. I thought he was very genuine, and I rather liked the commentary. I got a few tidbits of information out of it, but I don't think you're wrong. I think there was a lot of heaping of praise, we'll say. And I did want to point out, so it's been 27 episodes of our show since we did the quick take on this. That was the first time we did a quick take. This is the first time we're doing a revisit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you re-listen to the quick take episode?
I didn't. I really don't like listening to myself, to be honest. If I'm being super honest, I don't like hearing my voice, except for when I'm sick, and then I don't really like hearing your voice either.
I get it, man. I used to hate my own voice, and I was like, this is gonna be really hard for me. And then once I started doing it, I was like, it's not that bad, and I just kind of roll with it.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I need to force myself to re-listen to things.
Then you'll find out all the things that I've cut out. Like, what happened to that?
I know what you cut out.
Yeah.
I listened to enough for that.
Yeah. So I did rewatch it, or sorry, I did re-listen to the episode, and I brought the receipts. So there's a few things I want to follow up on from that. But let's go talk about the credits, who made it. Deadpool and Wolverine is the 34th movie in the MCU series. I know I just said I re-listened, but when I went and started working on the notes for this, I don't remember if we talked credits in the quick take or not. I had it in the notes, but I think we just decided we were going to skip it, and we're like, we'll cover that in the full episode.
That tracks.
Yep. And then let's see. It was written by Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, Zeb Wells, and Sean Levy. Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy we'll talk about more in a minute. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick also wrote the other two Deadpool movies, and they did the Zombie Land movies, amongst other things. So I'm familiar with their work from those.
That's the Jesse Eisenberg one, right?
Yes, the Zombie Land, yeah, and Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
So I like the first one. I don't really recall the second one.
The second one was not as good as the first one.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
And then Zeb Wells, he was a writer and actor for Robot Chicken, which is pretty funny to me, and also for New Mutants and the Amazing Spider-Man comics.
You should check out Actually, I don't know how much you like New Mutants, but it was an interesting one.
Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy was in it
really?
as Magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. The movie was directed by Sean Levy, who did the Night at the Museum movies. I've seen none of those. I did see Free Guy, which he directed. It was okay. That's also Ryan Reynolds, right? Mm-hmm. As a person, I find him to be less crude than Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool 1, and David Leitch, who did Deadpool 2. Yeah, I feel like the humor in this one is perhaps the most crude of the three movies.
It was pushing the limit. I feel like they were doing it because they wanted to see what they could get away with Disney also.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And I also feel like this humor stands up the least, or holds up the least, of the three Deadpool movies. To be fair, I haven't rewatched Deadpool 1 in quite some time, nor Deadpool 2. And if I had to put them under the microscope like I did this one, maybe I would find more faults. But I feel like, to me, this one, the humor doesn't really hold up that much upon multiple rewatches. Main characters, I'm giving top billing to Hugh Jackman as Logan / Wolverine.
Really?
He's the best part of this movie, and he acts his ass off in it. I love him in anything and everything that I've seen him in. I have a whole list of MCU adjacent movies with him in it that I want to get to at some point. Ryan Reynolds plays Wade Wilson / Deadpool, and I think I might finally be suffering from Ryan Reynolds fatigue.
Okay, see, so it's not just me.
Yeah. So it's certainly his on-screen persona that in almost every movie that he's in, he seems very much the same. Obviously Deadpool, he takes it to another level, but
he's got more depth than Mark Wahlberg, who is literally Mark Wahlberg in every every movie he's in.
For sure. And that, again, it's why I was kind of surprised by him in the commentary. He was, very reserved and not cracking these childish jokes the whole time. So I know he's not really like that, but I am tired of what he always puts on screen. I'm getting tired of it.
I don't know if you've had a chance to check out that Wrexham documentary that he and Rob...
I did not know.
Oh, he seems more like a normal person there. I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of editing going on too, but
yeah. I have to imagine he is more or less a normal person.
Yeah.
But, when you've made your money being kind of a jerk on screen, I think it's hard to not do that. Yeah, he should be a jerk as Deadpool, right? That's the character. I just feel like I may have had enough. Maybe it's gone too far. I don't know. We'll get into that.
I think of Deadpool more as a sarcastic smartass. Jerk would be I don't know. No one's immediately coming to mind, but he seems to in these movies at least he's sort of like a well-meaning sarcastic a-hole.
I think in this one he's bordering on jerk for a lot of it.
Yeah,
but in the previous ones I would agree with you. Yes, sarcastic, snarky, whatever. I also felt like there was a lot less of Wade Wilson in this than there was of Deadpool, because he can be a little bit different as Wade Wilson. Like they're in the first one for sure, and even in the second one, there's like the scenes between him and I want to say Veronica.
Vanessa.
Vanessa, that's it. Yeah,
wrong V.
Yeah, there's only so many V names to choose from. And I feel like I was missing that here. I just felt like he was borderline unlikable for most of the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the Wade Wilson parts weren't very.
They weren't
felt
Wade Wilson-y.
really fake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't feel important. That was the weakest part of the movie for me, and the most annoying part.
Yes, and so that's the other thing. Yeah, when he was Wade Wilson, he was just like taking it too far. I don't know. It didn't strike a balance for me. Anyways, moving on.
Sorry.
Emma Corrin plays Cassandra Nova. I hadn't seen anything else that they did before, but I love them in this. They make for a really good villain, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Cassandra Nova is Charles Xavier's sister, and I find that Emma Corrin looks like she could be related to James McAvoy. His Charles Xavier, I guess. Not so much
Patrick Stewart.
Also, note that while Emma Corrin is non-binary, Cassandra Nova is not. So don't come at me when I say she, her, when I'm referring to the character. I'm always trying my best here with pronouns. We have Matthew McFadden. I can never pronounce it. I'm never sure I'm pronouncing it right. McFadyen as Mr. Paradox. I really like him in Severance. He's very good here too.
I need to watch that.
Severance?
I've watched like season 1 and I never got around to the other seasons.
Well, you could,
but it was really good.
The way you watch stuff, you could get through that in a weekend. It's pretty good. I think it's only like 4 seasons, maybe 5. Morena Baccarin plays Vanessa Carlyle. I never mind having to look at Morena Baccarin on screen.
Yep.
There's a few others here. Rob Delaney as Peter Wisdom, Leslie Uggams as Blind Al, Aaron Stanford as Pyro, and there's many, many cameos that we will get to as we go.
So many.
I mean, it's kind of cameo the movie. So let's get into the main discussion. So we get this opening scene in which Deadpool digs up Wolverine in the hopes that he's not really dead, I guess. I do like how he says, how are we going to do this without dishonoring the sacrifice of the Wolverine? Something to that effect. And he's like, we aren't. So I was very glad that they didn't somehow magically bring Wolverine back to life. That would have been lame.
Hey, before you go too far, did you notice that scenes from Deadpool were in that little Marvel logo thing?
Yes, I did.
I just noticed it.
I thought that was something that they talked about in the commentary, so you didn't even make it that far, huh?
Yeah. I might have, and then maybe that's where I was like, oh yeah, there it is. But
I don't remember.
I noticed it this time.
Yeah, I'm not positive they talked about it in the commentary, but I think they did, because I've also seen it elsewhere. But yeah, I guess normally you don't get scenes from your movie in the Marvel opening logo until after the movie. So it would have to be like the next movie you might see a clip of it, or certainly the next Deadpool movie if there's another one.
Yep.
But yeah, they made an exception for him on this one. So anyways, yeah, so Wolverine's still dead, and this sets up the rest of the movie pretty much. Some TVA, or Time Variance Authority officers, show up claiming that he's committed too many crimes to list. And then we're not starting at the beginning of the story, which kind of confuses me here. So it was also not clear to me, because the Time Variance Authority shows up and they're like, too many crimes to list. And I always forget every time I watch it, like, has he fucked with the multiverse yet? I don't think so, but I'm never sure.
He did in the end of Deadpool 2. Because remember, he messed with time machine.
Okay, yeah, he messed with time, not the multiverse. Got it, right. Yeah, that was the other thing that was confusing to me.
Yeah.
That was the other thing that was Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know, because at the end of Deadpool 2, he definitely went back in time. But he jumped into like the Green Lantern timeline and killed himself when he was reading the Green Lantern script. And then he jumped into that other Deadpool movie where I think he shot himself. Shot himself, the character.
Wolverine Origins one?
Yeah.
So,
I think it is. I think he did basically go around into the different multiverses, because those are definitely not this Logan's timeline.
So I guess the Cable's time traveling device is a multiverse traveling device? I don't know. This is why I have a problem with it. It shouldn't be MCU. I'm going to say that so much in this. I have so many problems I have with this is because they've decided that it's MCU, and now then what also gets rolled in. Um, anyways, so we have the flashback. It makes it a little more confusing to me. Before the fight with the TVA, Deadpool has the line, there are 206 bones in the human body, 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl, which is not just funny, but also interesting because Gossip Girl was his wife's show. What's her name? Blake Lively. Yeah.
I love that they do a lot of these little random shout outs. Like, I think later in the movie, there's like on your left when he.
I missed that.
When he's bringing Wolverine in back to Mr. Paradox and saying, "Hey, I found a Wolverine that can fix our thing." But like when the portal opens up, he's like on your left, and he jumps in with.
Oh, I totally missed that. That's funny. Yeah. There's some other ones I've caught for sure, but either I missed that or it never sank in. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
So then, we have the protracted dance fight scene to NSYNC's Bye 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 with all the opening credits. I think it's fine. You loved it, right?
I loved it. I love that song.
So you said, this is where I'm talking about, I brought the receipts. In the quick take, you said that it was better than the elevator fight in Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Okay, I'm wrong there. Okay, I will own that one.
I thought that was an insane thing to say.
I was still high off of watching it. Yeah. Okay. I was still high off of watching the movie. But it was really enjoyable. I really liked it. It was interesting seeing the number of ways he could disassemble Wolverine's body and use it as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I loved there was that one scene where that one TVA soldier was like, "You're the worst thing to come out of like Canada or something," and then he looked at him and he bounced his katana off the ground and into his face.
That's great. I think that's when it comes back to it, but yeah, I did like that little.
Oh yeah, that was later. That was later.
I did like that little motion though. That was cool.
Yeah, but on rewatching it, I was like, oh, this thing committed the worst movie sin for Zach, which is he jumped back in time and then jumped back to the present. Speaking of which.
Yes. I have a couple of comments on the fight first. So it was a stunt guy, not a stunt guy, like a dance guy who did all the dancing part.
Oh, that wasn't Ryan Reynolds?
No. I feel like couldn't he have just learned it? He learned all the fight choreography. Like how much, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know anything about dance, clearly, as a white person. But I feel like he could have learned it. That's certainly good enough, but I don't know. Maybe he didn't have the time.
He was writing the script too.
Yes. But then I also was like, at what point, I assume it's him in the suit for the rest of the movie, most of the rest of the movie, including the fights. I could be wrong on that. Because at some point, otherwise you're just the voiceover actor.
Don't say that. We should talk about The Mandalorian then.
Oh, yeah. But that is Pedro Pascal in it, right? Most of the time?
No.
It's not? I thought they, at least for the first season, I thought that he was in it.
Maybe, but I think for like the second season, a lot of it was him voice acting it.
Okay. Well, my understanding was that he was in the suit, but then he also had to do the VO because he's got a tin can over his face.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to research. I'd have to double check. Yeah. But I thought I'd read somewhere that he spent more time voice acting because he has been pretty busy since season 1.
Okay. Maybe. What else about the fight? It still bothers me that he uses a femur like a throwing knife. There's so many shots where bones are treated like they're razor sharp.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's, I don't know. I guess if you throw it hard enough.
Or he throws it so hard, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. And then, I don't know, maybe I'm just a prude, but the part where he like stabs the guy right in the dick with a stroke down the bone and the blood kind of like ejaculates out. It was just a little too juvenile for me. I mean.
There's a lot of juvenility.
Yeah.
Juvenile stuff, yeah.
I think like the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, that's taking it to a new level. And then like just every time I watch it, it's just like, okay, I don't know if we needed that. And I stand by my previous continuity gripe that there's a problem that there's no bullet holes in Wolverine's skull because he got shot twice in the head at the end of Wolverine Origins, or X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is part of, that's the same Wolverine that was in Logan. right? Because it's X-Men Origins Wolverine, then it's the Wolverine, then it's Logan.
Was it? I can't remember.
It is.
They all confuse me.
We argued about this last time, and I wasn't sure,
Did
so
we?
I researched it this time. It is.
Okay. Because in X-Men Origins, oh no, I'm thinking about. Is X-Men Origins the one with the other Deadpool, right?
Yeah, the Deadpool that can't talk, which is a terrible idea.
What's the one with the samurai and the ninjas?
That's the Wolverine.
Oh, okay. So
which
totally
is a lot
that's
better
a different
than
universe.
Origins, but not as good as Logan. That's one of the few instances where the movies get better in the trilogy as you go.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so he should have, two holes or like two spots where like bone has filled in. I would assume that bone would grow back, but the adamantium doesn't, right?
Because that was when he got shot with an adamantium bullet, right?
Yes, right. Yeah. And then I have a new gripe related to Wolverine's skull. They pointed this out as an Easter egg in the commentary. I have a picture of it for you in the notes, actually.
Oh.
Do you see this number on the roof of the mouth?
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So that number is 24601. That happens when Deadpool kicks Wolverine's skull out towards the screen, right? Because I'm sure it's a big 3D effect. That's the prisoner number of Hugh Jackman's character in Les Mis, which is a stupid Easter egg. Why would it be there, right? Like, why would Wolverine have that printed into the palate of his skull? It's so stupid. I hate that. I would have never noticed it if they didn't say anything, but I don't know.
You know who does notice it, though? I think people who are on like subreddits and people who just zoom in on every frame of a movie so that they can catch every single like Easter egg.
Right.
There, I mean, I don't know how you found this.
They said so in the commentary. So
on the commentary,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, "That's fucking dumb. Why
did
they do that? We don't need that."
Whew.
Then we flash back to 6 years ago at the start of the story, which, as we've discussed, usually bothers me. It's mostly fine here, but it does confuse me a little bit later. I think that this is 2018. That would be post-snap, pre-blip, right? So after Infinity War, before Endgame. 2018. I'm pretty sure Infinity War is 2017.
Is it 6 years before he traveled in time to Logan in the dystopian future?
I believe so.
Or is it 6 years from the beginning?
It was not clear. I did a lot of digging trying to figure this out, but from what I could find, it's 2024 for the events of the current day events of this movie. And when I flashed it back 6 years, that would be 2018. Maybe it was like 6.5 years. It's a little bit before. It wasn't clear to me. That's not super important, but I did get a little bit confused with the timeline.
The timing, yeah.
So here, Wade Wilson interviews with Happy Hogan for a spot on the Avengers team. He's obviously not a good fit. Notably, we are shown on the screen that this is Earth 616, the sacred timeline. P.S. I hate all the sacred timeline stuff. I cannot wait for Avengers Doomsday because it's supposed to finally get rid of all the multiverse stuff. This is where I started to feel the wear and tear on the jokes. Like the smash-debating joke just didn't do it for me anymore.
I'm a kid. I chuckled at the smash-debating.
I did chuckle at Avengers Adjacent. So that did make me laugh. So obviously he doesn't get the job that he's so badly wanted. I just had a tough time believing this motivation for him. It seems tacked on. Apparently Vanessa's fed up with him. She wants him to do something that matters or something like that. I don't know. I'm so confused by all this. Like, she died at the end of part 2, right?
Right.
And
he traveled to this timeline, I guess, where he reconnected with her. But then what happened to that Wade Wilson?
So exactly. So I'm not sure. So they never show him go back and save her, but they talk about it in this movie. Like he did. I have no trouble believing that. That's fine. Because later on, he does say that he used Cable's time travel thing to stop a few people from dying. So I'm assuming that she's one of those.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like that could have been a better reason for her to leave him. Like maybe she was mad that he interfered with fate. I mean, she was basically in heaven. Right now she's got to go back to work. So maybe she's
Right.
mad about that.
Fair.
But she like draws the line at him being depressed because he can't be an Avenger or something like that. And like their relationship seemed so much stronger than that to me. It wasn't adding up to me. So I didn't like that.
Yeah, that was I think from the beginning that was my biggest problem with this movie is the whole Vanessa and Wade Wilson thing just fell apart completely from the beginning because she was never like that in Deadpool 1 and 2.
Right.
Right. And then also Deadpool never seemed like the kind of guy that had to be on the, on the New York Giants team or whatever the hot shot, sports team was.
Right.
So he never gave off that I need to be somebody vibe.
No.
Because he was always, he was always what he was at the end of this movie. He just wanted to protect the people that he could protect.
Yep. Totally agree. Also, if he wanted to be an Avenger so badly, why didn't he just use the time travel device to stop Thanos?
Oh, then he would have totally jumped in.
Right. And also, why didn't he use it at all in this movie? Where did that time travel device go? Did he like destroy it because he was abusing it?
I don't know. Wait, so you're saying, because I mean, part of me just turned off my brain when it came to all the timeline stuff because I got sick of it already. Well, I mean, yeah, no, you can't. I know you can't, but part of me, like, I had to get through it because so you're saying this Vanessa was the one that died, and so he traveled back in his timeline to save her.
Yes.
And that's why Shatterstar is also still alive?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess he also saved Shatterstar. I forgot that he died in 2.
Yeah. Wait, so his main timeline, he traveled to another timeline to audition for the Avengers?
I have a theory.
Okay.
So, I'm just about to get to it. So now we skip forward to 6 years later to 2024, I believe. It's Earth 10,005.
5.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was something I was very hung up on. How did he change multiverses? Because apparently 10,005 is his original universe, right? But then he traveled back to 616, right? The original universe thing I accidentally found out while researching the time travel device in Deadpool 2.
Right.
So I think my guess here is that 6 years ago there was no 10,005 universe, but with all the timeline free that he did and what happened in Endgame and stuff like that, now we have all these universes branching off, and the one that he's in is 10,005. But if you go back far enough, it's only 616.
Oh.
Just a guess. I'm trying
so
real,
it's
real
a branch
hard.
of...
Yeah. So
it's a branch of
10,005 is a branch of 616. Trying really hard to make this work.
You're stretching, but I'll buy it.
All right.
I'll buy what you're selling. So Earth 10005 also happens to be Logan's timeline. Old man Logan's timeline.
I believe so. Yes. But
okay.
But the 616 as it continues on is the sacred timeline, according to this movie.
Right.
Which, I mean, if it was the original, I guess that makes sense. I don't know why it's 616 instead of 1, but we've had that argument before.
Hey, it doesn't get any better with DC.
No, I'm sure it doesn't.
Just so you know.
Yeah. I mean, 616 sounds cooler. I'll give it that. So anyways, Wade Wilson is...
Nope. Earth Prime would work.
Yeah.
Would sound even better.
Yes. There you go. Wade Wilson's working as a certified pre-owned car salesman at DriveMax. Note for later, he works with his buddy Peter Wisdom, who has held on to Wade's old Deadpool uniform. I guess Wade's not doing Deadpool anymore. After work, all of Wade's friends surprise him at home for his birthday. There's a bunch of cameos here. Go ahead.
Before you go on, did you feel slighted that your Nissan Altima, was it Nissan, isn't it, that your Altima was not, what's your van?
I have a Toyota Sienna.
Oh, Toyota Sienna. Sorry, my bad. Are you mad that they totally ignored the Sienna? Because the Odyssey and the Kia Carnival had prime product placement in this movie.
I mean, the Sienna is essentially the same as the Odyssey. I like the Sienna a little better because I own one. but no, I didn't really feel slighted. Didn't really bother me. I did feel slighted that they were bagging on minivans so much, but I got more on that later. So it's Wade's birthday. All his friends surprise him at home. There's a bunch of cameos. We have Brianna Hildebrand as Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Stefan, I can't even pronounce the guy's name. I won't bother. Something Russian, but voicing Pyotr Rasputin, aka Colossus.
Colossus.
Karen Sony as, I don't know how to pronounce his name either, as Dopinder. Dopinder,
I just call them by their names.
the taxi guy, taxi driver guy.
Yep.
And I could have used more of all of them, especially Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I really missed having her in the movie. She was such a critical part of the first two movies. And I think you also mentioned Shatterstar. He was there for a bit too, right? And
Yep. Vanessa.
Yeah, Vanessa's there, right? Negasonic Teenage Warhead's girlfriend, I forget her name.
That guy Buck that was in the first movie also happened to be there. I think.
Is that the old dude?
It was like the biker guy.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember.
He happened to be there too.
Kind of familiar, but I can remember who he was.
Yeah.
In the commentary, they kind of explain why those characters are barely in it. So when Disney bought Fox, they wanted the Deadpool franchise, but not all the friends and family that came along with it. And that kind of became the genesis for this movie story. Basically, Disney was trying to prune Deadpool's friends. And so that's how they came up with the idea for, the universe getting pruned, right? So that made me like this movie just a little bit more, actually.
Because Disney was trying to get rid of his friends, or
no, because that's the origin for the story. Like, I think I like the genesis of the story a little bit better because of that.
Got it.
Oh, also, along those lines, there was a good take on that. I don't know if you listen to the Blank Check podcast. It's significantly more popular than ours. So probably everybody listening to this has probably heard or listened to that. But they're saying that this movie is Marvel saying Deadpool and Wolverine are the only characters that people are really going to care about going forward. And that's literally what the anchor character is, right?
Yeah, I have a big gripe on that.
Okay, great.
But go ahead.
Okay, so I read into their take on it as because Logan died at the end of his movie, none of the other characters matter. It's not really a perfect analogy because the movie Logan still exists, but maybe it's more like it fades from our memory and people will stop watching the old movies with time. And then I also had the thought, Disney has a thing where they're like, oh, this movie's going into the vault. Buy it while you can. So I wonder if Logan's going to go into the vault.
Oh, that would suck.
If you want to listen to just to further plug in a podcast that doesn't need it, but if you wanted to listen to that episode, it's Blank Check's episode on Trap. And it was around the 2:31 mark that they had that discussion. And if you think that George and I go long, I don't mean 2 minutes and 31 seconds when I said 2:31 mark. I mean 2 hours and 31 minutes. So it seems like this birthday party scene serves the purpose of setting up that he loves his friends so that later he doesn't want them wiped from existence. One more thing from the commentary, though. The run on cocaine slings that he has, it's Blind Al and what's her name?
I was about to ask you if we were just going to ignore that. We'll see.
If you have something to say about it, go ahead, and then I'll follow up on the commentary.
I enjoyed it, but it was also to me, hey, Disney, hey, everybody, this is us proving that we were pushing the envelope.
Yeah. So this is one that I didn't think really held up to multiple viewings. It was Ryan Reynolds' idea for a marketing thing, and they didn't really expect it to stay in the movie. They were just going to use it for like a trailer or a promotional clip. And I think that they probably should have cut it out because every time I watch it, I'm just tired of it.
Yeah. It's not as funny as it was the very first time.
No. A lot of the jokes are like that here, unfortunately.
Just before that, though, or like right after that, the whole part where Vanessa and Wade aren't together in this timeline also comes in, and it's just like I don't know if you caught it the first time, but I was just kind of like, what's going on? Like around this part of the scene where she's like, make a wish, buddy, and he's like, 10-4, good buddy, and I was just like, what was that?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know. I really wish that they had come up with a different reason for Deadpool to. I mean, does it even need to? I don't know.
Be important.
I can't even form the thought right now. I should have come to me.
Well, I mean, like it's the. I mean, I'll get into this a little bit, but it's like how Pete Holmes has those skits where he talks about like Wolverine. Yes. Like, why does everybody like you? You have knives for hands.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and he breaks it down like that. It's just kind of like, okay, well, Deadpool shoots things.
Right.
But there's Magneto in the universe too. He's much more cooler. You've got a guy that shoots eye blasts. That's way cooler, but somehow Deadpool's supposed to save everybody.
Right. Yeah, I just really did not like that story element.
Yeah.
Now some TVA agents show up at Wade's door and take him to the TVA. This is where we first meet Matthew Macfadyen as Paradox, and he's great. Wade admits to only using Cable's time machine to bring a few people back to life, but that's not why the TVA wants him. Paradox butters him up a bit, telling him that he's special and he's been chosen for a higher purpose, which is to save the sacred timeline. Side note, this is where we see one of the TVs, the scene of Deadpool and Thor. And, like Thor's crying and it's like, the whole thing is like, why is he crying? It looks more like it's from Thor 2 when Loki dies than Love and Thunder when Jane dies. Because we had that discussion in Love and Thunder where we thought we figured it out. We're like, oh, is this what that was this scene what
The scene.
this movie was referencing? Was the scene in Love and Thunder, at the end of Love and Thunder, where he's holding Jane?
Right.
Was that what they were referencing in Deadpool and Wolverine? And I thought, we thought we figured it out. I don't think it was that. I think it was probably Thor 2.
I think that's one of the things that bugs me about this movie that never gets figured out is what universe and timeline was that from?
Right. And it's not going to help what I'm about to say next, because in the commentary that they say they don't know why Thor is crying. They just made it up. They just want to be able to claim credit for it if it ever gets worked into a movie later on down the line.
I'm getting Quantum Mania vibes here.
A little bit. So Paradox tells Wade that this is his chance to leave his timeline and join the greatest universe of all and become an Avenger. Another joke that does hold up for me here is when Deadpool talks right into the boom mic.
Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland. Get fucked.
And then he headbutts the camera.
Yes.
That one makes me laugh every time.
I also love the Marvel Jesus comments.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Those still hold up.
Yep.
Let's see. He gets a new suit and weapons. And then there's one more detail. His timeline is going to be trimmed.
You will not be returning to your home because there will be no home to return to.
Come again? This time in my ears?
That one's pretty juvenile, but it still gets me.
There are a few like that hold up for me,
yes.
Mostly because I'm a fucking immature little shit. But those are really funny. But part of me was also like, if I'm recruiting somebody like Deadpool to save the sacred timeline, why would you tell him you're about to obliterate everybody that he knows and like loves?
I'm assuming it's one of two things, and one is either Matthew Macfadyen, Paradox, is too arrogant or too self-centered to think about that. He's probably like, I wouldn't care, so why would Deadpool, right? Or he assumes that Deadpool is so crass and crude, like he couldn't possibly care about anyone. So I don't know. That's my explanation for it, but I wasn't really hung up on that.
That was a motivational plot hole.
That's fair. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
Then there's a bunch of exposition about timelines and anchor beings and the sacred timeline. It's all fine, but I don't like it.
You didn't like the part where they stared at Logan's death? The death scene from Logan?
That's fine.
Like everybody in the room just staring at it?
That's fine. What I don't like is all the sacred timeline, basically anything multiverse. I've been tired of it since it started.
Okay.
616 of the sacred timeline. Deadpool's timeline is 10,005. Whose anchor being was Logan, who died. So I think MCU movies are technically 616, but it gets very confusing. It usually takes a couple thousand years for a reality with no anchor being to slowly wither out of existence. That's in line with people forgetting about the old movies, like we were talking about before.
Right.
But Paradox is impatient. He has to oversee that process, and he doesn't want to wait that long. So he's making a time ripper to accelerate the process, and he sees this as a swift and compassionate end and something that will get him promoted to leadership, more importantly.
So one question I had about this whole thing, the Logan event where he dies in the movie, that's way in the future from the current time though, right?
I didn't check when that actually happens. That's actually interesting. I'm going to Google that real quick.
That's one of my biggest gripes in the timelines that I don't understand is because wait, because right now,
yeah, they had all those
when
like self-driving, like shipping
Cars.
trucks and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
the shipping
huge
trucks, everything.
problem.
It's like way in because it's supposed to happen way in the future when Charles loses control of his mental powers.
Right.
And then everybody in the world gets a seizure until they drug Charles up. So it's supposed to be like a dystopian future set where all the X-Men get hunted down or something. And that's why that's why the humans had a chance to start breeding their own mutants, and X-23 was born.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's set in 2029.
Yeah, so that's where none of this makes sense to me.
All right, I hate doing it. I don't want to defend this movie unless Deadpool used Cable's time travel device to go to. But why would he? Why wouldn't he just go and save Logan then? All right, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right.
But if everybody dies, that means every anchor being eventually dies.
Right.
So then every timeline eventually wraps itself up.
I hate defending this shit. Maybe there's more than one anchor being. I don't know, buddy. Like, I don't know why when you're helping me shoot down this movie, I feel like I have to defend it. I should not. But no, that's
okay.
That's a great point.
I just want to know if I'm crazy.
No, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. And like I'm grasping at straws here. So the idea of his timeline getting withering away, I guess in this case being wiped out quickly, that's unacceptable to Deadpool. So he punches Paradox in the face, steals his temporal access device, and then portals out of there. So I guess he doesn't have Cable's device anymore.
A shout out to the Goo Goo Dolls. I love that song Iris that plays every time somebody looks lovingly at Deadpool and Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the song, but I know the scene you're talking about.
It's Iris.
Okay, I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Goo Goo Dolls fan, but I'm sure that they have a song that I like, and maybe that's it. So that brings us back to the beginning, where he finishes the fight, then retreated to a great montage of him trying to find the right alive Logan in various universes.
Just another shout out to another fourth wall break, the get my country's name out of your fucking mouth.
Oh, yeah. Did you have time to look into the different variants?
I did. I mean, I didn't really need to do too much because I already knew most of them. The first one was hilarious because of the anatomically correct Wolverine. Yes. In that Wolverine's supposed to be tiny. He's not supposed to be. What's Hugh Jackman, like 6 feet something?
Yeah, he's pretty tall. We used to call him like Mary Lou something, like a take on Mary Lou Retton
or something. Yeah,
I thought he had a funny name for him.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Just seeing how short the actual anatomically correct Wolverine would be, which boggles my mind because I guess you could still be super cool with knives in your hands, but he was tiny.
Yeah,
when he showed up. Yes. The Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, which I forget what everybody calls it. I think it's weapon. He's just called Weapon X.
Okay, is that the one that was in the alley?
The alley with the stump for hand. Okay. Because that stump was where Cyclops of that timeline melted his hand down with his optic blast.
Okay.
And then Cyclops lost an eye and actually became a Cyclops because of Wolverine, I think it was.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. And then that was followed up with Patch, which is like his gambling persona I guess his
James Bond
identity.
One, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. He used it to infiltrate the mafia in Vegas, I think it was. Okay. I forget. And then the Cavalrine.
That's the best one.
That everybody was stoked about. I did love the "We'll treat you better than they ever did."
Yes.
Commentary.
Yes.
And then that was followed by the old man Logan Wolverine, which is set way into the future, where I think the Hulk basically killed everybody, and the Hulk had kids. That Wolverine ended up killing and coming after. But the Hulk was ridiculously powerful there. But that was another great story arc in the comic books.
I just had written down Hillbilly Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. He is. It was very like old-timey vibe to it. The crucified Wolverine, I think, is what they're calling the other guy, the one who's on an X.
Yeah, that's the one I'm most curious about.
Yeah, I don't really remember that comic book story arc, but it's hard to forget that comic book cover, which is exactly what they recreated there, where it was like a big X and he was crucified against it. Then there's the classic Wolverine, which was the brown and yellowish outfit, or I guess it's brown and ochre yellow. That's the OG like Wolverine outfit. There's a scene where he pops his claws and you see the Hulk's face.
Yeah,
that was from a super classic, really huge fight. I think it was Todd McFarlane.
I think we put that in the chapter on the quick take actually, because you talked about that one for sure, and it's it's like it's a cover from one of the comics, I think. But if I recall correctly, yeah.
I do appreciate the massaging of fanboy balls sometimes that this movie does.
That whole section was amazing to me, and I knew almost none of that the first time I saw it. So like that's the kind of Easter eggs I'm all down for.
Yeah. No, those are they're all like, they all tease like these really great storylines and story arcs. Like if anybody decides, hey, I want to check out what that thing was all about, like they won't be disappointed with any of those story arcs.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to read some comics. There was something though with that last one where you see the reflection of Hulk in the claws, right? I never picked up on this, but they mentioned it in the commentary. So Wolverine turns around and sees Hulk. He's like, "I'm Marvel Jesus, you dull creature," right? It didn't even occur to me. That's a take on Loki's line from Avengers, where he's like, right before he gets puny-godded by Hulk.
I love that right after that, he gets beaten up by all the Wolverines.
I don't remember that.
Except for the worst one.
Yeah.
Remember when Henry Cavill, or the Cavalrine?
Right. Oh, then they just, is it just like
is
it a quick montage of all the Wolverines we just saw kicking his ass or something?
Yeah, it's all the rejections of him.
Okay, yeah. That does sound familiar. Then we get the scene from the trailers that we all saw multiple times with the alcoholic Wolverine. And Hugh Jackman is really great here. He's great throughout, really, but I like when he's like, "You don't want this," in such a casual way. He's just been through everything. Like nothing is a threat to him anymore.
But I just never get what it is that he actually went through. Through this whole movie, I never understand what it is he went through.
Okay, I was thinking that, and then I finally got it. And now that I know what it is, I'm kind of feel like I don't know why I didn't get it. I can just cover it right now. So he went out drinking, and then a bunch of humans decided that they were going to kill the X-Men, and then they killed the X-Men, right? So first of all, completely unbelievable. Right. How did a bunch of humans take out Cyclops and Jean Grey and Beast?
Storm.
Yeah, and Storm.
Colossus.
Yeah, like totally unbelievable. That's stupid. And so you hear that part first, and then you're like, okay, but why does that make him the worst Wolverine? Like he made a mistake or whatever. But then he talks later on, I think it's when Cassandra Nova's in his head, kind of near the end, and he says that then he went on a killing spree for revenge, and he didn't stop at the bad guys. And so he killed a bunch of innocent people, allegedly. And then my thought was like, oh, so now the people in his universe just have to live with him, because what are they going to do? Right? So that's why he's the worst Wolverine. I still don't, it still doesn't really add up to me, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if they could kill all the X-Men, then why couldn't they just put him down?
Right? They do something like, crush, like put him in a hydraulic press for eternity. Like, I don't know.
Dude, they went into the void and Toad turned on a magnet and he was stuck there.
Exactly. Right? I didn't even know adamantium was ferromagnetic, but now we know.
Yeah.
Actually, it makes sense because Magneto could fuck with Wolverine, right? Because of his adamantium skeleton. So
yes, another fun call out to Pete Holmes' skit where he's like, "Our greatest enemy can move you around with his mind."
Those are so good. Okay, I got a bunch of notes later on that I have to skip over because we just covered them. So Deadpool tries to get this Wolverine's help, but he pounds a bottle of Jack Daniels, I think it was. Pounds a bottle of something and then passes out. And so Deadpool drags him back to the TVA as a replacement Anchor Bane. but it doesn't work like that.
That's, by the way, that's where he said, on your left, baby girl.
Yeah. Clearly, you can't just replace an anchor beam because the plot of this movie wouldn't work then. Not to mention, this is the worst Wolverine. He let his entire world down. We just discussed why. But I feel like there's probably a worse Wolverine. I don't know. It's not like he was touching kids or something, right? Like, there's definitely worse crimes. Right.
Yeah.
There's another good line that still works when Deadpool is bringing Wolverine up to speed.
Welcome to the MCU, by the way. You're joining at a bit of a low point. As for you, I want to talk to your boss. I want you to get him on the phone and you tell him, her, or them that Marvel H. Christ isn't playing. Holy shit. I just heard a symphony of buttholes clenching all at once.
Yeah, I did like that.
That one gets me. Turns out that this group is operating off the grid. It's unsanctioned. And before Deadpool can blow the whistle on them, Paradox prunes him and then Wolverine. So anyone who's seen the Loki series knows now that they end up in the void, where they argue for a bit. The jokes were landing a little bit more frequently here for me, but I don't want to just sit here and repeat all the lines.
The jokes in this particular scene?
Yeah. Just where they're kind of ripping on one another. If there's any that stand out to you, feel free to let them fly, but I didn't write any down.
I just checked in that, like, in my notes, I was like, this is the first 35 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, is a very eventful 35 minutes.
Yeah. And we are over an hour recording right now. I think it's going to go a little faster, but
sorry.
No, that's fine. So they end up fighting. I wanted to say Wolverine does look great in his suit here. I really like his suit.
Yeah. He looks great until he pulls the mask on.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We will get to that. They end up fighting because Logan doesn't give a fuck about Deadpool's problem and doesn't take too kindly to the insults being slung at him. I like this fight a lot. It's a good fight. It's flashy, but not overly so. And it doesn't drag on for too long. I also find that it's interesting how far they can go with it when we have two invincible characters fighting, basically.
Yeah. This scene and the minivan fight was also really great.
Okay, I disagree there. I thought that one went on too long.
No, that one went on too long, but I do like seeing what two people with like incredibly fast healing factors can just do to each other without like it being censored.
That and without it getting boring, which I think it did a little bit in the minivan scene.
Yeah.
And this is where I was kind of wondering, here in the fight scenes, it's obviously Hugh Jackman in a lot, or else they did some really great CGI work to replace faces or something. But I'm wondering how much of this is actually Ryan Reynolds in the suit, since he didn't do the dance number. Now I'm questioning everything.
There were a few places where people... Oh, it was like, Dredd, the Judge Dredd, the first one. That was kind of one of the things that kind of annoyed me about that movie was you wanted to see Dredd. And that's why I think I love Dredd so much is Dredd never, they never took off his helmet.
Right.
And it was Judge Dredd the whole way.
Right.
But there are movies where it's like, oh, well, we paid for Sylvester Stallone. We better get Sylvester Stallone's face.
I don't even know if it's so much as Sylvester Stallone was like, I'm doing this movie. You need to see my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I kind of do appreciate that Ryan Reynolds wasn't always taking off his mask.
Oh, I don't want it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I did not want him to take his mask off. I'd like him way better with the mask on. I'm just like, I think it makes it a lot easier to send the stuntman in that way. So I'm wondering how much of it was a stuntman and how much of it was him. So eventually they agree to help each other out. They're going to save Deadpool's world and fix Wolverine's. Then Chris Evans shows up and gives them the heads up that some legally distinct Mad Max type marauders are on the way. We talked the last time about how weird Chris Evans' eyes looked. I felt like it wasn't as weird as I remembered, but it's still something's off. I don't know if it's because he's squinting the whole time, but...
You know what I think it was? I think he had eyeliner or something.
Maybe. It is definitely something like that, but I could not place it. There was like his eyes were too small. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I hate looking at pictures of JD Vance is what made me think.
Oh, hang on.
I think that's what was going on.
Let me take my picture of JD Vance off my desk here and have a look.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'll just look at my JD Vance tattoo. But yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
That eyeliner thing, which makes like the outline like darker, but it annoyed me. I think we talked about it the first time. It was really annoying because we were like, "What's going on with his eyes?"
It really took me out of the movie. Maybe I just got used to it this time. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as I remember anyway. I really like the reveal that he's not Captain America, but Johnny Storm. That was
great.
Great the first time. It doesn't work as well on rewatch, but I still like it. And I kept calling him in the quick take. I kept calling him Johnny Blaze instead of Johnny Storm.
Oh, wrong character.
Yeah, Johnny Blaze is
Ghost Rider.
Thank you. I was like the skull head guy. So the Timu Mad Max gang rolls up, and amongst them we have 3 characters from the first X-Men and X2. Sabretooth played again by Tyler Mane. Pyro played again by Aaron Stanford. And Toad not played by Ray Park, which is weird. I wonder why they couldn't.
Wait, I thought that was Ray Park.
Not according to what I saw.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't available.
I know the others weren't the original actors, but I thought Toad was for sure.
Sabretooth and Pyro were the original actors.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant like Psylocke isn't the original. Yeah. Is clearly not Olivia Munn. So is Lady Deathstrike.
Right. But I really enjoyed the Pyro appearance. Of all the people who show up in this movie, I think that was the biggest surprise to me.
Pyro?
Yeah, just because I don't know what that guy's done since. And I don't know, I just never expected to see him
since again. Since X3, when he was lighting cars on fire that Magneto would throw.
God, that's such a bad movie.
It is terrible.
So Johnny Storm tries to burn up the Marauders, but Pyro takes him out easily because he can just absorb the fire. Wolverine decapitates Sabretooth, but then Toad uses the big electromagnet to capture Deadpool and Wolverine. In the next scene, they're being driven across the plains of the Void. I was really bothered by the little creatures that run over the hill in the shot. They look kind of like they're kind of like peacock colored, but they're like the size of a chicken, and they just have like an open tube for the neck and a little floaty ball for the head. I hate it. It's not necessary. It's impossible. I don't know why we need this.
Was that in Loki? I don't remember.
It was in Loki, yes. So
okay.
I looked into it because I was like, whose dumb idea was this? It also looks obviously CGI. But so in the commentary, actually, they said that's a reference to Loki season 1, episode 5, to tie the Void back to that show. So then I had to look into that. And it turns out that it was just some dumb idea, my words, not theirs, that Loki's head of production design, Kazra Farahani, came up with. Yeah. I was just like, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Moving on, Wade, Logan, and Johnny are taken to see Cassandra Nova. On the way, Johnny Storm exposits about the Void, in case you didn't see Loki season 1. It's where the TVA sends people, kind of like purgatory, until you basically get annihilated forever by Eliath, which is this giant smoke monster. Looks pretty cool.
Yep. Did you finish Loki? I don't remember if
I did. I've seen both seasons. Okay. I gotta tell you, I feel like being annihilated forever doesn't really sound that bad. Like, there are worse fates.
Yeah.
When they arrive at Cassandra's place, we see it's the giant corpse of Ant-Man. The Paul Rudd finally aged jokes still make me chuckle.
Yes.
There's a lot more character cameos here too. Azazel, which is the Red Devil looking guy who can teleport.
Also not the original actor.
Right. None of these were the original actor, I don't think. Psylocke, which I don't know why Olivia Munn didn't return. I couldn't really find a good answer on that. I just said the character was reimagined and recast. It's like the character's barely in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe she was busy. I don't know. I would like to think that they gave her the option to.
It sounds like they were busy. I think I looked up why the Azazel guy didn't show up, and it sounds like for a lot of them, like you show up for 3 days to shoot the scene, but 2 of those days is spent like putting makeup on, especially for somebody like Azazel.
Yeah,
and they're like,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Importantly for later, we have Juggernaut with his helmet that shields psychic powers. Let's see, you also mentioned Lady Deathstrike. It's not Kelly Hu.
Not Kelly Hu, yeah.
And was there anybody else?
There was a Callisto, I think, the little, was supposed to be there, like the leader of the Morlocks, but
I don't know what any of that is.
There was somebody named the Russian when I looked it up on IMDb, and I have no idea. It was like the big dude with the red and white shirt.
Okay.
I don't know I guess he's super strong. Yeah, well, he just got blown up by Gambit.
Maybe he's kind of like Cyclops. like the bad guy version of Cyclops. Not Cyclops. Not Cyclops.
Colossus.
Colossus. Thank you. The other C name. Cassandra Nova comes out. I think she's great. She's Charles Xavier's twin. He apparently killed her in vivo because as a fetus, he recognized that she was evil or something. It wasn't really clear to me.
She tried to kill him. That's why he killed her.
Yeah. I guess that's a good clue that she might be evil. And somehow she made a body for herself or something. I tried to I read about it and I was like, this makes no sense to me. I'm glad they didn't try to explain it in detail in the movie.
Yep.
She did say that she tried to strangle him, and also that the TVA deemed her too dangerous and put her in the void before she could even walk. I'm not a fan of her origin story, but I do really enjoy Emma Corrin as this character, and I think they do a great job here.
Yeah, she's great. I just don't get why she does that whole thing where she's like, the void is paradise. I can wield my power here without shame. Like, okay, well, why? You know, it would be better if you go into the sacred timeline and just mess everybody up there and just take over that timeline.
Just she'll get more resistance. She'd get more resistance there. So that was actually a question I had for you. Was I remember you said that you didn't understand why she was okay living in the void, and I feel like it's pretty clear. She says, "I love it here. The void is paradise. I can wield my power without shame." Like that all adds up to me. And like she says something to Wolverine later on too, where she's basically like, you here in the void, you can be who you are, or be what you are, or something like that.
But you got to pay rent to Eliath.
Yeah. But there seems to be plenty of rent rolling in. So, so that still didn't bother me. I was just curious if you came around on it at all, and it doesn't sound like it.
Not really. Because she's clearly super strong. I mean,
yeah,
she ripped off. Well, actually, speaking of ripping off skin, so is that really what would happen if all your skin disappeared? You just fall apart like Chris Evans did?
No, I mean, I don't think. I mean, if it was literally just your skin, probably nothing would happen, because I think you even have like a membrane over your internal organs to kind of hold them in place. But
right, and your muscles would hold would kind of hold things together, right?
Yeah, and I thought it looked bad. The actual collapsing, like the skin coming off, was shocking and interesting looking, but like it was bad CGI when he collapsed into a skeleton, or his skeleton collapsed into a pile. But whatever. It was fine. I did have one other comment on Cassandra Nova. I was curious if Emma Corrin had shaved their head for the role, and they did buzz it to make the bald cap fit better. Mm-hmm. And I have to assume that if they had shaved their head, like the hair follicles would be too distracting, and it would look shaved instead of bald. And I think that they were really wanting that bald look. But points for committing and not having like this big lumpy, like a huge bald head, right? Because sometimes actors or actresses will refuse to shave, and then the head looks really big and weird and sometimes lumpy.
Speaking of weird heads, I really hope that Nathan Fillion's hair in the new Superman looks legit. Because to your point, like that's a lot of hair to be putting under a wig.
Yes. Well, I mean, it looks like a really bad bowl cut to me. So I don't know. So Nova's been after Storm for years, and it doesn't go well for him. The thing that Deadpool says Johnny Storm said about her is pretty great.
Oh, Johnny told us all about you.
Maybe shut up now.
Yeah, maybe don't.
We're just talking here. Yeah, Johnny told us you're a psychotic, megalomaniacal asshole. His words, not mine. Hell-bent on domination and pain.
You said all that about me.
No. I didn't say any of
Sticks
that.
and stones, Johnny! Don't let her intimidate you. It's like you said in the convoy. This finger-licking, dead-inside pixie slab of third-rate dime store nut milk can eat your delicious cinnamon ring and kick rocks all the way to bald hell.
Okay, I have never said any of those words in my entire life.
The modesty.
I like it because it seems like Deadpool set him up, but but in the post-credit stinger, we find out that he did say all that and more.
Yeah.
And then we talked about, it's pretty gross and shocking when she telekinetically pulls all his skin off. She's clearly very powerful, and then tosses Wolverine like around like a rag doll.
She like buried him in the ground like instantaneously.
Yeah.
Right.
Then she does the really cool thing where she puts her hand through Deadpool's face and gets inside of his memories. This is where we see Vanessa, and this is where it doesn't add up to me. And she tells Wade that she needs him to show her that he cares about something bigger than he is. And there's a lot of other movie memories, movie flashbacks. Then Deadpool basically yells at her a bit. Cassandra Nova, this is. While she's distracted, Wolverine stabs her through the back. And I really like this moment because she acts like she's critically injured for a minute, right? And then she basically flicks them both away and then leaves them outside for Eliath to eat, essentially.
I also really like that until I was like, didn't she have like 15 people right next to her? And nobody was like, hey, look out. There's a dude in a bright blue and yellow suit right behind you about to stab you.
Yes, but I'm sure this is not the first time something like that's happened. And they're probably like, well, she can handle herself. Like, she's basically indestructible. So.
Oh yeah. So it's like Thanos then, when Thanos was fighting the Hulk and Ebony Maw was like, let him have his fun.
It's like, I'm going to sit this one out. I twisted my ankle. Then there's this rocket MacGuffin thing that they hijack. It's like a robot leg with a rocket on it. Wolverine gets on it, and then Deadpool hops on, and they launches them up and out of there.
That was there actually, because remember when they got hit by when they got magnetized.
Yes.
And then Wolverine was like, "Oh shit!" It was because that robot leg was there, and it smashed them into the magnet, and they were both stuck into it.
Well, I know that's how Deadpool was stuck to it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
because
that
Deadpool was on top of Wolverine.
Right. I didn't. No, I think it was
it's a reverse.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't remember that being part of that scene, but it's a little bit better. But I still feel like it was rather convenient. And and it's fueled up. Like, I don't know
that part. Yeah.
Right. So, anyways, they launch up and out of the way, and they land on a faraway mesa. Then they're walking while Deadpool recaps the events of the movie Logan for Wolverine, but really for the audience in case you didn't see it. And then from some dumb Gizmodo article, I found this out. They walk by the car and trunk from John Hughes' Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I put that
I did not see that.
So at the bottom, you see the scene where they're walking, and then in the foreground, there's a trunk in this old car. And then here's a scene from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
So when I said dumb, I was talking about Gizmodo article is dumb. I thought that this was a totally acceptable Easter egg. It's not something you would pick up on. Why not? Why wouldn't that be in the void?
Right. That's a cool. I like Easter eggs like that.
Yeah. It's not like one of them had it tattooed on their arm for no reason. Right.
Yes.
So anyways, for some reason, there's an old abandoned diner in the void, and they stop there for a bit so that Deadpool can eat and Wolverine can try desperately to find some alcohol. He does eventually find and drink some rubbing alcohol. Don't try that at home, kids.
Would that really make you buzzed if you were like Wolverine? And
oh yeah. Okay. Potential libel suit waiting to happen. I want to say it was Kitty Dukakis who was hospitalized for drinking. It was something like aftershave or something with isopropanol in it, rubbing alcohol in it.
Really?
Yeah, it'll get you drunk, but it will like totally fuck up your liver or kidneys or both. Maybe it's not good for you, and it can make you blind. But if you're Wolverine, you regenerate, no problem. Actually, I'm surprised that he can get drunk. Isn't it a bit like Chris Evans or Captain America?
Yeah. Well, because your healing factor kicks in so fast, it won't let you get drunk.
Right? I don't know. I guess maybe I don't know the mechanism by which alcohol makes you drunk. So I guess if his metabolism isn't super fast, but it's got to be if he heals that fast. I don't know.
Yeah. He's pushing bullets out of himself,
Right. It's a whole nother podcast. Anyways, so yeah, he drinks some rubbing alcohol, but this whole scene is primarily for exposition and recap of related non-MCU movies. It's fine, but it's a bit sluggish on rewatch. That continues for a bit while they start walking again somewhere, not really clear where. Things pick up again when they run into Nicepool and his dog, Mary Poppins. I really like Nicepool. He's just nice for the most part. I mean, he says a couple of things that are a little not politically correct
but it's okay because he's a feminist.
Self-proclaimed anyway.
Yes.
But I do think it's funny when he says, it costs nothing to be nice.
Yes.
And Wolverine goes, shutting the fuck up is also free.
That's one of my favorite lines. Shutting the fuck up is also free. God.
I'm much more like Wolverine in attitude, but I do like Nicepool. In the commentary, I presume you gave up. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. Do they in the commentary? Do they mention that? They probably don't mention the lawsuit at all.
No, not at all. Fortunately for them.
Yeah. Because that definitely changed this scene for me on the rewatch. Was just like, oh, so because Nice Pool supposedly is Justin Baldoni is a caricature of Justin Baldoni.
Right. So,
which I could kind of see it if that's true.
Yeah, I don't really know that guy at all, and if whatever was alleged that he did is true, like total piece of shit. But if this is like based on his outward personality, I don't know. It's funny to me. I think it's
funny to me too.
Yeah.
I actually like to your point. I liked Nice Pool too because he was funny right up until he died. He was funny, you know?
And he's helpful. He helps them out.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's really just got that one line where he talks about how his wife just had the baby, and he basically says like she's already lost all the baby weight or something like that, and it's like like that's and Deadpool rightly calls him out on that. But,
yeah.
So, anyways,
sorry, that feminist line kicked in my head again.
I'm pretty sure that's right when he was like, "It's okay, I'm a feminist."
Yes. Yeah.
So, in the commentary, they said that Nice Pool's costume was almost the new Deadpool costume, actually.
It is. It's totally different from the other ones. So that's the cool thing. I don't know if you caught it, but like all the Deadpool variants all wear different uniforms.
Right. But they were just saying like when they were trying to come up with a new, because I guess they already had the Nice Pool costume and they were trying to come up with a new Deadpool costume, which in my mind, it looks the same as the other two, or the other one that was in the first two movies, but whatever. I don't like things to be too different anyway. That was not a complaint. But anyways, they were trying to come up with a new outfit for him and they were like, should we just use the Nice Pool outfit for him? And then they're like, nah. That would have been like, a 1995 Deadpool movie. Also, the salmon paste, they used salmon paste to get the dog to lick his Wade Wilson's mouth, which I don't know.
I have dogs. I have a pet. I have a dog. I have had 2 rescues and I have another dog right now. And I will not make out with my dog like that. I do not understand how people do that.
If you gave me the choice between eating salmon paste and letting a dog lick the inside of my mouth, I don't know which one I would choose. They're both pretty gross to me.
Salmon paste.
I guess I'd go with salmon paste because I'm not going to catch a disease from it. But
yeah. Nice
Pool lets them borrow his Honda Odyssey minivan, and Deadpool thinks that's embarrassing or something. I don't know. In the commentary, the director said, "I own this bugged me. I own a Honda." I can't even say it. I own a Honda Odyssey. I just literally castrated myself in this commentary. A, no, you didn't. You figuratively did. You think you figuratively did. And B, minivans rule. There's nothing wrong with owning a minivan.
Oh.
I proudly drive a Toyota Sienna. It's a totally practical vehicle. The doors slide open so your kids can't slam them into the cars that you park next to. It's great, except for the shitty gas mileage. Minivans are cool, kids. Take it from me. The coolest guy in school.
I'm not knocking it.
So they start driving to wherever it is they're going. I don't even know if they really mention where that is. I guess there's gasoline in the void. Yes. And since Deadpool can't shut up, he's talking the whole time and lets something slip.
If they could fix your world, what's the first thing you're going to do when you get out of here? Some rubbing alcohol shots? Maybe a wiper fluid chaser?
What did you say?
So when you get back, what's the first thing you're going to do?
No, before that.
If they can fix your world?
What do you mean, if?
I mean...
You lied to me. You don't have a fucking clue if they can help me fix things, do you?
No, I mean... No! I didn't lie!
You lied!
No, I made an educated wish!
Did you say you made an educated fucking wish? You know what? You're a fucking joke. No wonder the Avengers didn't take you, or the X-Men, and they'll take fucking anyone. I mean, you are a ridiculous, immature, half-wit moron. I have never met a sadder, more attention-starved, jabbering little prick in my entire life, and that says a lot, because I've been alive for more than 200 fucking years. And I'll tell you, that bald chick was right about one thing. You will never save the world. You couldn't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper. And motherfucker, I wish I could say you die alone. But it's one of God's best jokes that you can't die, except it's on all of us.
It's so good here. Hugh Jackman is excellent. He really sells the seething anger.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I was getting into the clips that I just put it together that right before that, Deadpool was talking shit about the X-Men.
Yep.
Like saying like how Logan's too good for them and stuff. And then he lets it slip the if they can fix your world.
I like the line that friends don't let friends leave the house looking like they fight crime for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yes.
That cracked me up.
Everything in this scene leading up to the fight is great. And then I just feel like the fight goes on for too long after that. But man, I love Hugh Jackman here. He sells it.
Did you catch the Spider-Man shout out too with the
He was just
quick
going
hit?
pew, pew.
Yeah. He's making the spider sound, the spider web sound.
Yeah, that's like right before everything kicks off because I think Wolverine tells him to stop that. And then he's like, if they can fix your world.
Yeah.
After the fight, it's nightfall, and it looks like Wolverine won, but they're both passed out, so hard to say for sure. Oh, no, Deadpool's all tied
It was
up,
a tie.
Yeah. It was a tie?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So then a stranger drives the van away with them in the back, and they wake up in a cave-like bedroom. There's a couple of Easter eggs here. The hook bed.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you saw that.
Yeah. Well, you asked me that on the quick take, and I had not seen it, but this time I did. And did you notice that the ceiling is from the temple in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
If you were going to say Indiana Jones, I was going to be like, I didn't notice that.
So, but how did those get into the void? Like, were they from other withered universes? Because nobody pruned the ceiling.
Right. What did the bed do wrong?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, but if it was from other like withered universes, wouldn't the void just be filled with all kinds of shit from various withered universes?
Yeah. I mean, it I don't know. From what I remember in Loki, things just fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
And into the void, right?
That was my recollection as well. So, I don't know. Maybe some things get pruned on accident in fights or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So in comes Elektra, played again by Jennifer Garner. Blade, played again by Wesley Snipes. X-23, played again by Daphne Keane. And then Channing, I can never say his name, Channing Tatum as Gambit. I remembered Gambit being hilarious to me. Like, highlight of the movie, hilarious. And it just wasn't that funny on rewatch. I don't know what it was. It wasn't unfunny, but there was only like 2 laughs for me from him. I don't know.
I'm willing to bet it's the I didn't know my daddy, but I shot out of his cock already.
That was definitely one of the ones that made me laugh for sure.
Yeah.
And and when Deadpool was like, it's been a while since I've seen Sling Blade. Solid movie, by the way.
Did I might have wondered this in the first impressions movie, the first impression episode, but is that really, I guess, like how Louisiana twang sounds like
the Cajun accent?
The Creole, yeah, the Cajun accent. Is that really how?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's say yes.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody in New Orleans sounds like that.
New Orleans. Yeah, I meant to research it to just kind of get that out of my head. Like, a part of me is wondering how authentic that accent really was.
I'm going to assume that most people don't sound like that, but I'm sure somebody does. So the story is that the TVA sent them Elektra, Blade, and Gambit all there. Oh, and X-23. The TVA sent them all there because their universe was dying, and the TVA knew that they wouldn't go quietly. And then, I also made me laugh when Deadpool looks at Elektra, and he's like, Daredevil? And she like shakes her head. He's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's fine. That's great.
Because I'm assuming they're referencing the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was my assumption as well. So now they're going to team up to take Cassandra Nova down and make her send them back to their own timeline. Pretend that plan worked. Wouldn't the TVA just prune them again? Like, what's to stop them from just being sent right back to the void?
I mean, at the end of the movie, that's what they were going to do with Deadpool until Peter came.
Yeah, exactly.
Came back, right?
So I don't know. It doesn't seem like a great plan to me. I guess maybe try, see what happens. But
also, what universe? Because aren't their universes dead?
I'm not sure because well, maybe it was they were all going to go back to 616. I'm not sure, but also their universe was dying, maybe not dead yet. Maybe it hadn't been Time Ripper dead, because it would normally take thousands of years, they said. So,
Right.
I don't know.
We're trying to make sense again. We're trying to stretch for
Right.
For
Well, that's the other thing is like, if it, it doesn't wither for like thousands of years. But I mean, the way that they showed it, it makes it seem like it gets erased. Like the entire, so like you're still gonna be gone at some point.
There's nothing withering about it.
Right. Exactly. It's just, it's like running backwards or something. I don't even know how to explain it. So
Yeah, I feel like withering would be, you would see the line, but it gets fainter and fainter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you clearly see it shrinking.
Yes. And yeah, like receding.
Yeah.
A receding timeline. So before we get to the action, X-23 and Wolverine have a little fireside chat because he needs a little bit of convincing to go along with the plan. Again, Hugh Jackman is great. He's just saying like dumb comic book stuff and doing it in a convincingly sincere way.
Yes.
This is where we also find out why he's the worst Wolverine, that he was out getting hammered when the regular humans went and killed the X-Men. We already discussed that. That's totally unreasonable. There's no way they would have got taken out. He did not get into the part yet where he had gone on a killing spree after that. Then it cuts back to that old diner where Pyro seems to be on their trail. It turns out that he's working for Paradox and updates Paradox on the situation. Eliath did not take out Deadpool and Wolverine, which I'm not sure how he knows that from finding a can of Spam, but whatever, we got to move the movie along. Paradox says the Time Ripper is almost complete, and for some reason, now he gets worried that Cassandra Nova will choose to leave the Void. So Pyro volunteers to take her out, and good luck with that, I say.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty arrogant to think you could just take her out.
Yeah, he literally saw Wolverine stick claws into her chest and skewer her, and she was totally fine.
Yeah, I don't know how he thinks he's going to take her out. The next morning, the gang drives up to Cassandra's Ant-Man corpse compound. Blade rocket launches, the gates open. Then, after some brief tough talk, there's a big fight scene. What's up with Cassandra's guys just shooting down into the scuffle? Like, surely they're going to take out some of their own guys. They're just kind of
Apparently
firing.
They just didn't care.
I guess. They skipped the team building exercise, I guess.
Yeah, and they must have all been stormtroopers or something, because they how do you miss? There's like 6 of them at the first. At first, it was 6 of them, and then there were 4. And by the end of this scene, everybody's dead except for the 4 of them.
Yeah, and there's like those guys shooting were like 20 feet away, right? Shooting down into a barrel essentially. So we get a big long fight. It's good. A little too shaky cam for me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine eventually get inside the compound and find Cassandra Nova. I really love it when she controls Wolverine's arms to like stab his own legs and then into the ground.
Yes.
It's the way that's choreographed is so good.
Yeah.
Almost like she's conducting an orchestra.
Yep.
Then she goes inside his head and he talks about finding the X-Men dead. More A+ acting from Jackman. He's the worst Wolverine because after that he went on the rage killing spree and he didn't stop with the bad guys. And he says that he turned the whole world against the X-Men. Cassandra really makes the effort to try to convince him to come work for her. She says, in the Void, you can be what you are. She can silence all the voices in his head. And there's this great moment where it goes silent and he breathes a sigh of relief. And she says, I've got you. Like, I've got you, fam, right?
Yeah.
But while that was going on outside, X-23 got Juggernaut's head and therefore his psychic ability blocking helmet, tosses that up to Deadpool. And so when Cassandra says, I've got you, Wolverine says, no, I've got you. Because Deadpool puts the helmet on her and now he's restraining her. I just really liked how that played out. That's definitely a highlight for me. I think between that and the, like right before the fight in the minivan, that whole, like Hugh Jackman getting super mad at Deadpool, like those are my highlights for the movie.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't really think it through because how is she supposed to send them home with the helmet blocking her powers? Which we find out later, it wouldn't have mattered, right? Because she doesn't use her powers to send them home. But they don't know that.
Nope.
So they have kind of no choice but to kill her. And while they're arguing over who gets to do it, Pyro strolls in and caps her a few times.
Weren't they arguing? Wasn't Wolverine arguing not to kill her?
I don't think yet.
Deadpool was like, we need to kill her.
I'm not sure yet. Because like there's the line when... I forget what Wolverine says, but then Deadpool's like, I could just snap her neck. I've already got her head right here. It's like, it'd be super easy.
Yeah.
So Pyro starts monologuing, and then Wolverine knocks him out. And I like that line too. He's like, not everybody gets a speech.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah. Especially mid speech.
Yes.
He knocked him out.
Mid-sentence knocks him. Then another great moment when Deadpool says, promise you won't kill us when we take the helmet off. Because they got to take the helmet off so she can heal herself, right? Which that doesn't make sense to me because it shouldn't be blocking the psychic powers from working on herself. But whatever.
She's gonna die.
Okay, hey, if I take this helmet off, do you promise you won't kill us?
I promise I will kill you first then.
Oh, why are you like this?
I wish I knew.
Take it off.
I love that. That's great. I just like that she's just a psycho. Like there's no real reason for it. That's just how she is. But Wolverine convinces her not to kill them because he's an X-Men and he knew her brother and he can't let her die because of that. Which I guess is fine. I don't really have a better solution here. But doesn't she hate her brother?
She tried. That's yeah. I mean, again, some of the rack up in the list of things that don't make sense. She tried to kill him in the womb. I don't know. I don't understand why this speech from Wolverine was all of a sudden so revelatory.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he did kill her or try to kill her, apparently, right? So it's not like he would have Xavier. He actually did kill her.
Oh, yeah.
And then she just managed to reform herself and create a body for herself.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not like he really would have been exactly what Wolverine was saying.
Right. Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. So they take the helmet off, and this is what I was saying about not needing her psychic powers to send them home. Apparently, a Doctor Strange had rolled through at one point, and she killed him, but held onto his sling ring, and she uses it to open a portal for them to go home.
Not just any sling ring, though.
Right, exactly. So I want to say it's established that sling rings don't go between universes. I don't remember if that's just something that you told me or if that's something that's been established in universe. I don't remember. But yeah, as you point out, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that the sling ring has 2 Infinity Stones on it. I've put a picture of that in the notes.
Which ones were they again?
I will show you.
Oh.
The ones that don't make sense.
Yeah, I remember one is time and power?
Yeah, it's
time and reality.
Yeah, the time stone and the reality stone. Which doesn't really, I mean, I guess reality kind of makes sense.
Reality, yeah.
But yeah, Space Stone would have made more sense to me, but I don't know.
Yeah. Space and reality would have made more sense to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been the dream team right there.
Yeah.
But then I think you brought this up. There's the issue of Infinity Stones only working in their universes, though.
Yeah, the TVA said that in Loki.
Oh, okay. All right. So that is in universe.
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to try to defend this movie for, I don't know why. I would posit that there's probably no Infinity Stones in the Void. And perhaps then they all work in the Void if they are there. I don't know.
Potentially.
I remember you being pretty hung up on it.
Yeah.
I wasn't that hung up on it, and I'm still not. Believe it or not.
You're really doing well with the defending, towing the line here for
there's
the
enough
Marvel
other
universe.
things. Just the whole multiverse in general is a problem for me. So,
Scoutmaster Kevin got to you.
I would love it if he paid me to start talking better about some of these movies. So they go through the sling ring portal. They end up at the Drive Max that we'd worked at just as Peter Wisdom is closing a deal on a minivan. They land on that. And then back in the Void, Pyro spills the beans to Cassandra Nova about Paradox and the Time Ripper.
I like that he was like, just ask.
Yeah, oh yeah. She puts her hand in his face. You could. It's like, what's wrong with just asking? Something like that. At the TVA, the final checks on the Time Ripper are almost complete. And then everyone pretty much converges in the same place out on the street in, I think it's Vancouver. I thought it was New York City, but I looked into it and apparently this takes place in Vancouver. I'm not sure. Deadpool and Wolverine talk to Paradox. Then a sling ring portal opens up and Pyro steps through saying that we have a problem. 2 seconds before Cassandra Nova reaches through his head and snaps his neck, which that looked pretty bad. That was bad CGI. Then she runs her hand through Paradox's head. That looked cool. That held up.
I love that effect, by the way. I don't
It's
know.
really good.
I mean, I've never seen it before, and maybe that's why I like it as much as I do.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't want to see it in
it's
every
pretty
movie,
awesome.
but it was really cool. It worked really well here. It did look a little goofy when she starts dragging him around by the face, essentially.
yeah, that looked very CGI'd.
Yeah. But this is how she learns about the Time Ripper. Now she wants to use the Time Ripper to destroy all the universes so that only the Void is left. And then she flicks Deadpool and Wolverine away into the Rob Liefeld's Just Feet store. Which we talked about that in detail, I think, in the quick take. Of course, the Sling Ring portal didn't close, which is either consistent with the inconsistency of Spider-Man 3, not Spider-Man 3's, No Way Home. No Way Home, right? That's the third one. Not Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi movie. Or it's inconsistent with the Doctor Strange movies. Dogpool and Nicepool will come through the Sling Ring hole. Then they're followed shortly by a bunch of Deadpool variants.
So many.
Ryan Reynolds gif, but why? It does always make a chuckle the way Nicepool says, sorry. And still like his fourth wall break, the proposal.
I like how he says papa also.
Oh, yeah.
Papa.
And hard to agree with Deadpool here. He's got the line about, can we just be done with the multiverse thing?
Yes.
I really do hope they are closing that chapter with Doomsday. I have mixed feelings about Nicepool getting shot up, though. It's funny because at first he's trying to smile through it while he's getting shot, right? And then
Yes.
and the line about regenerate.
How long does it take for you to regenerate? Regenerate?
And he's got the mouth full of blood. That still makes me laugh. It's dark, but it's really funny.
Yes. He's the only one that didn't have the regenerative healing.
So yeah, a couple of things. One, is he the only one? Well, I'll get to that in a second. But it's also Deadpool just straight up murders this guy, right? Who did nothing but help him. So I know Deadpool's not a good guy.
No, he was carrying him to that crash cart so that he could heal him.
But that
He
wasn't
just
gonna
was
heal
using
him.
him as a meat shield on
Yeah,
the.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so he's just like
Yes.
that's cold-blooded murder to me. And I know that
It is.
Deadpool's not a good guy, but that was like especially cruel and uncalled for to do to Nicepool. If it had been like just some random bad guy or whatever, it would make sense. So like I feel like that damaged Deadpool's reputation for me. It does end with a really good chunky head pop though. I appreciated that. And like the two chunks right on the eyeballs. That was totally on accident. Like it was like a practical effect, the head pop.
Yes.
And they just happened to do that. So that was interesting.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that was a part of the commentary.
Yeah.
Nice.
So then they fight the 100 Deadpools. They fight the Deadpool Corps, and supposedly it's 100 Deadpools. And it's my understanding that you're going to tell us about each one, right?
No. I mean, there were a lot, but I think that there were definitely some really obvious ones like Kidpool,
Yep.
who happens to be Ryan Reynolds' kid.
Yep.
And Blake Lively's kid.
Baby Pool was too, right?
Baby Pool also was, yeah. When Lady Deathpool, Deadpool, everybody knows whose voice that was. I don't think it was actually her body.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was. Well, I mean, I couldn't find information on if it was actually her or just the voice. It could have been.
It was just her voice from what I saw. Yeah.
I don't know why it couldn't have just been her, but anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's easier to do the voice like at a local studio than to travel to wherever they were filming and coordinate schedules and everything.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the kids weren't actually in the actual Kid Pool and Baby Pool outfits too.
I'm not even sure Baby Pool was not entirely CGI.
I'm pretty sure it was all CGI. Yeah.
Right.
Peter Pool, we already know who that was.
Right.
Nice Pool was Ryan Reynolds. We just mentioned that. Dog Pool. Then there's the Cowboy Deadpool, which was Matthew McConaughey.
Yes, I did not know that until I heard it in the commentary.
Yeah, you like. Well, I think once you listen to it after
you
the
can
rewatch,
totally tell,
like you can totally tell.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
Nathan Fillion, Fillion, right? Okay.
Yeah.
God, man, I keep every once in a while I'll get it right, and then like I'll doubt myself, and then I'll get it wrong.
Actually, it's Dr. Fillion now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's honorary
nice.
or not, but he had a post about he's going to be completely intolerable, insisting everyone calls him Dr. Fillion now.
Huh? Hey, Joe Biden can do it.
And she can. Hey, as a doctor,
And she can.
All right,
I'm
supporting. Yeah, and like people, you can call me Dr. Huge. Thanks. I'm not going to dox myself with my real last name.
Wait, I should have been calling you doctor this whole time?
You haven't been? I didn't notice.
No.
All right. Well, I'll let it slide.
You left it out of the title, the podcast title.
That's true.
Headpool, I did not realize. I mean, I think on first listen, it didn't sound like Nathan Fillion to me.
No, you really have to know it's him to figure it out because he's doing a character voice.
Yeah. But then we get into like the less known Deadpool. So there's like Deadpool 2099, which is like the futuristic one that looked like had LED lights.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, attached to him. There's the Zenpool, which was the gray monk looking one. I think it was that I thought was like a zombie at first, but it was just had like robes and stuff.
Right.
There was a Golden Age Deadpool, the one that had the mask, the mask rebreather, the World War I, World War II looking mask in front of his face.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's Welsh Pool that I saw with the really obvious. Like,
I had that one written down. Yeah. That was when they made up. There's right.
Canada Pool. I didn't know which one was Canada Pool. Was that?
Aren't they all?
But there's a Canada Pool. Yeah, that's also what I was thinking. Samurai Pool was very obvious. Was a samurai. And then I saw that there was a Herald Pool and Dance Pool, and I have no idea who those two were.
Herald Pool and Dance Pool?
Yeah.
Apparently. I don't know either. Yeah.
So
weird.
Yeah,
okay.
Those were the ones that I caught digging around.
All right. Yeah. There's a lot more than I noticed. So this is where Wolverine puts his mask on. I still do not like it. Neither one of us liked it in the quick take. Sounds like neither one of us like it still.
It looks just good in the comic books, but that's because it's a comic book.
Yeah. It just doesn't work for me. It's weird. The eyes are too far apart. And at first I'd written, I think the eyes look too far apart. And then I went and did a freeze frame of him without the mask on. And then he pulls the mask over. And I in my knockoff Photoshop, lined them up. They're much wider than his actual eyes are. So I think that's a huge part of the problem. And it always looks like he's looking up and at the same time can't see where he's going. I don't know. It's weird. But it does. I think it does work for 2 shots. And I put that in the notes. There'll be a chapter art for majors.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm still confused why it works for me with Deadpool and Spider-Man, but it does not work for me with this Wolverine suit.
I think it's 2 things. One, with Spider-Man and Deadpool, entire face covered, right? And then certainly with Deadpool, the eyes are where they're supposed to be. And with Spider-Man, they're much, much bigger, right? So he would still be able to see wherever his eyes are. But with Wolverine, I mean, especially in this picture that I have here, his eyes, you just see they are too far apart.
Yeah.
But it is a cool shot. You can tell that what they're going for here. We got this comic book picture where he's got his arms out, and then when they jump out of the bus at the end of the big long fight, that's very clearly taken from the comics as well.
Yeah.
So right in those 2 shots, I think it's as much as it works for me, and the rest of the time it's just weird and distracting. I'm glad they didn't do it the whole movie.
Yeah.
So Deadpool finally says maximum effort. I don't know why it doesn't say it more. And then we have the big long fight. Not gonna lie, I skipped through a lot of this. I just had enough.
The big fight.
It was a lot of it was filler to me. They don't show Kid and Baby Pool get killed, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think then Disney would have had a problem.
But they regenerate. And I guess that was my other question. So of all the, I guess that's coming up. I'll come back to that in a second. So when they're fighting through the bus, there's the Stan Lee Steamers ad. So there's the tribute to Stan Lee since he can't do a cameo anymore, right?
Oh, I totally missed that. Was that
really?
the ad on the side of the bus?
Yeah. Stan Lee's Steamer. I don't think it's got a picture of him or anything. It's just the name of the thing. But that's the their tribute to him there, which is nice. I like that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Nice Pool not being able to regenerate, that led me to believe that maybe some of these Deadpools also can't, but they all seem to come back to life. No problem. And then what was the point of all that other than to burn screen time and have cool fights while Cassandra's busy?
But it wasn't even that cool. The first fight scene was way better.
Yeah, exactly. Like I skipped through a lot of it. So, I mean, I guess it was so Cassandra can have time with Paradox and the Time Ripper. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't have been she didn't have enough time to do anything if we just moved on or did something else for a bit.
I did enjoy the Like a Prayer song.
It's not bad. I don't mind it. It is funny to use it for a fight scene, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the Deadpools regenerate, and it looks like it's just going to have to happen again. But Peter Pool comes in and calls them off because for movie reasons, all those Deadpools are like, yeah, we all have Peters too. So, okay.
But like, then why didn't they just give that Deadpool also the benefit of the doubt?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like they were clearly giving this Peter, who isn't their Peter, like the benefit of the doubt and loving him.
Yeah, this is definitely one that I can't even stretch to try to explain. It just seemed like they needed to fill up screen time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So all that's left now is to stop Cassandra Nova from ripping time with the Time Ripper. Isn't it more of a universe ripper though? Or a timeline ripper?
Like, I don't even get what she was supposed to do with it. Was she going to take apart that timeline, pick up the Time Ripper, move it to another timeline?
I mean, it's literally just them going, she's going to use that to do this, and they don't bother explaining it because they can't, because it's a dumb idea.
Right.
So she's using the machine, and I don't know about the yellow and blue spaghetti strands. Like that's supposed to be time, I guess. I don't know. In a diagram, it's fine. Like they all the timelines, but as a physical thing, it doesn't make sense to me.
What? You can't pipe antimatter and matter through random pipes?
So it is supposed to be matter and antimatter, but how is that also timelines? But yeah, to your point, I mean, we are made of matter. And then I have to assume that the antimatter, the stuff on that side, it must be contained by magnetic fields or something to keep it from touching any parts that are made of matter and annihilating one another. Recall in the quick take that I had a gripe about when Paradox says if they touch the antimatter, they'll be atomized. I have an update.
Yeah.
He does first say you will be annihilated, which is the correct terminology.
Whoever formed the bridge would be annihilated.
I could live with that.
Yeah, I can live with that too, actually. We survive anything. We're like cockroaches.
Not this time. This is matter and antimatter. They do not play nicely with each other. When they mix in your body, you will be atomized.
Then he flips it up later by saying that when the antimatter and matter mix in your body, you'll be atomized, which is not the same thing. But also, he's just some shitheel who worked his way up to middle management. He's not a physicist, so I think it's okay for the character to get that wrong. So That is no longer a gripe for me. If it was actually a gripe in the first place, I forget. Also, the movie does not deliver on this at all. At worst, when they're bridging the matter and antimatter, they look like the extremist soldiers from Iron Man 3. Like, that's the worst thing that happens to them.
I feel hella bad for admitting this, but I really did enjoy like a prayer in this part where they were just like introspectively looking at their motivations for being a hero.
Right.
And this is like the only time it made sense to me that he was like, I'm trying to save Vanessa and my friends. Not that I'm trying to matter. I want to be like a hero. He was just being heroic because he was trying to save everybody.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But all that other bullshit was like, I enjoyed not having to remember that for that brief moment.
It feels like they needed to save I want to save my friends. They need to save it for this moment, but they needed something similar in earlier moments so as not to, to waste that delivery. And what they came up with was just not very good.
Yep.
Yeah, so they spend a lot of time, maybe too much time, deciding who's going to go into the chamber to bridge the antimatter. Meanwhile, Cassandra Nova is, I don't know, she's shredding the timeline or something. Like there's the timeline integrity thing that's going from 100% down to 0, whatever. But in the end, they both need to bridge. They both need to go in there to be able to bridge the streams of matter and antimatter. They're too far apart. I feel like Paradox probably could have told them that. He's the one who built it, right? And apparently you can just grab a hold of matter and antimatter like glowing licorice ropes. It's so weird to me.
Yes.
I ended up skipping ahead here too. The flashbacks went on far too long for me.
It's really lucky for everybody that they didn't put the antimatter and matter pipes in different rooms.
Exactly, right? They did not have security high on the list when they designed this equipment. But it worked, of course, and they win. Cassandra Nova is annihilated, I guess. She kind of gets blown up. which is too bad because I liked her. I'd like to see her come back, but I don't really know how you would have stopped her otherwise.
She could. I'm sure that there's another Cassandra Nova out there in a timeline. Maybe she'll come back for Doomsday.
This is the problem with the universe, with the multiverse. I mean, Paradox gets arrested by the TVA, and were we supposed to believe for a minute that Deadpool and Wolverine died? Because while I think that would have been a better ending, I did not for a second. Like, there's this big delay. Apparently, originally they came right out after destroying the Time Ripper, and Blake Lively saw an early cut of it and suggested making the audience wait to make them believe that maybe they did die.
I mean, I'm glad she said that because I did enjoy Paradox's whole speech about
totally. Yeah,
my friends sacrificed their lives and they were heroes.
Yeah, no. I liked the speech a lot. And that was a reshoot because they needed that to kind of fill what would otherwise just be dead air, right?
Yeah.
So I did like the speech. I think it does pay off in the end, but I didn't for a second think that they were actually dead.
And I do have to give Hugh Jackman his props. I don't know how much of that was CGI enhanced, but he did look like he was in really great shape when that whole Goo Goo Dolls Iris song played again, and all everybody was thirsting for him.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think that it's probably very little, if any at all, CGI enhanced. But you got to do. I don't know. You got to like do a crash diet and dehydration to look like that on set for the day. I heard it's not a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't look like that.
Same. I have a god bod. It's just
I'm just
Thor.
I'm just very hydrated.
Yeah. I have the Infinity War Thor bod. No, Endgame bod.
I get you now. Where was I? In the commentary here, I don't remember what it was in reference to really, but they were like, "This isn't a sequel or a prequel or anything." Like it totally is. No. And then not 2 minutes later, they're like, "Hey, there's Feige's Pizza, which is a callback to Deadpool 1." It's like, so it is a sequel. What are you talking about? Or maybe that's just an Easter egg to them. I don't know. Deadpool and Wolverine go and get shawarma, which is obviously a reference to the end of Avengers. Dogpool shows up, and then they all go hang out with Deadpool's friends. And X-23 is there, so I guess the TVA lady followed up on her promise to get his friends home after all.
Wait, so Alioth didn't kill them? Blade and Elektra and...
I don't know. I like more hand-waving, but I presume that the TVA can basically do whatever they want and like undo that. Although they did say that they couldn't undo Wolverine's friend's death. Or maybe they thought it would interfere too much or something.
Well, they were like, you want us to interfere with the past, but that's what made this Wolverine the guy that saved your...
Okay, so maybe they could interfere to it in a very recent past, which didn't really have effect on anybody. With
I guess they were in the void, but then why didn't they save the other...
I don't know. Maybe Elektra and Gambit are somewhere else.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm doing too much hand waving for this movie. So, and also,
I really want to know where you are in this. The ranking.
I'm actually curious where you are because I thought you were going to be. I mean, you're more negative than I thought you would be. You've said more negative things than I thought you would.
It's one of those you rewatch it and you're like, wait, what?
Right. So I'm actually a little bit like, is he going to end up in the same spot as me? So now maybe, I still don't think so, but now maybe Marina Baccara, what's her name? Vanessa. Now maybe Vanessa is going to give Deadpool another chance because he did something or whatever. And then in the credits, I really like this. I didn't watch it again, but I remember really liking it in the theater. All the behind the scenes from like the various X-Men and Deadpool movies from a decade ago or more, probably 2 decades ago for some of those. That was really cool. I like that.
Yeah. I enjoyed that part. It was like, wow, everybody was so young and oh God, I feel so old.
Well, that, and they got the Green Day song, like Time of Your Life, right? And I don't know, that you can't listen to that and watch something like that and not feel something.
Yep.
And then we have a post-credit stinger where Deadpool shows the video evidence of Johnny Storm saying all those things about Cassandra Nova, where it seemed like Deadpool just made it up earlier.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's still funny. But, Deadpool didn't have to rat him out, but it was still funny.
And just the whole way that that whole scene fell down when he ratted him out.
Yes.
It was funny.
But yeah, I don't know. Just between that and all the horrible things he did in Nice Pool, I kind of don't like Deadpool after this. All right, so now we are at changes we'd like to have seen. Do you want to go first or should I?
You can go first.
Okay. So by far, my number one change that would be the biggest improvement to me without really needing to change anything within the movie is just don't make it MCU. If they had said, this is not MCU, this is just a Marvel movie, I think I could accept a lot more of this and be a lot more forgiving.
Right.
I would also, I don't have a better option, but I wish that there was a better reasoning for Deadpool to go on this whole quest, or at least a better reasoning for Veronica dumping him. Not Veronica. Is it Vanessa?
Victoria.
I'll come up with another V name by the time we're done. But she needs a better reason for dumping him. It just seemed off-brand for her, off-brand for their relationship. I mean, they were, I don't know, they did everything
great.
together. Yeah. Like literally everything. Hot take here, probably. I could have used less of the let's fucking go and more of the maximum effort. I feel like they wore out LFG. I'm tired of it.
Was it around then that LFG just kind of took off? I
figure that
and that's
I feel
why...
like it really blew up at that point. This wasn't the first time I heard it, but like ever since then, all I heard is people go, let's fucking go. Yeah. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
I also feel like this Logan could use a better backstory as to why he's the worst. Or maybe he's not the worst. He can just be like one of the worst ones. I don't know.
Right. There's a lot of Logans.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he really the worst?
The killing spree is a pretty good reason, I guess, but the reason for the killing spree was unrealistic. There's no way humans came in and killed all his X-Men buddies. And then the last proposed change for me, I would have liked to have had Domino back. She was like my favorite part of Deadpool 2. I like the idea that her superpower is that she's super lucky.
Yeah. Slight spoiler alert. I hear she's going to be in Doomsday.
Oh, really? That'd be awesome. I would love that. Great.
I think I saw that. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, then it's not a spoiler if we don't know, but I like that conjecture. Okay, what about you?
Yeah. So there were a lot of things that to me, I'm surprised you were okay with, because they feel like things that Dr. Zach would have been not so fond of. But I still don't get why Mr. Paradox would just straight out tell Wade, yeah, we need you to protect the main timeline, but everybody in this timeline they're gonna eat it because we're obliterating that.
I mean, that's fair. I think it's just hubris, but I don't feel so strongly that I think you're wrong.
Yeah. And then all the timeline jumps were annoying as hell to me.
Yep. Confusing for sure.
Just the jumping back and forth, like, okay, wait, so Logan took place in, I guess, Earth 10005 now, and because he died there, the present day of everybody else, it gets unraveled.
That really does not make sense. That's a good catch. That one, that's a gaping plot hole.
Yeah, and then just the whole anchor being thing, like I said, like earlier. So, hey, everybody dies at some point. So anchor beings. So the end result of every timeline is that you get wiped out. So then, if that timeline just obliterates the way that the whole like it looks like it's getting erased more than it does.
Yeah, exactly.
Like fading out.
Yep.
Like that doesn't make sense to me.
I totally agree with you there. I kind of hate the entire premise of the movie. There's a lot of interesting and funny things that happen in it, but like the reason for the movie is highly flawed.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you caught this, but in the ending there too, I was like, all right, Wolverine was banging on that door trying to break it. Why didn't he just cut it open?
Oh yeah,
and slice it open.
Yeah.
Like, why was he like? What was he bothering? Like trying to like I get it. He was strong enough that he rammed the Odyssey and like triggered the airbag during that fight. But like, why bother with that door that you're trying to get down as fast as possible? Just slice it open.
Yeah. No. Good point.
That was another thing I caught. But there's a lot. A lot of the what else do I have in my notes? the whole idea that a bunch of humans killed the X-Men, I can't buy that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then why would you feel guilty? I mean, I get it now, now that you explained it to me, but I also feel like, okay, well, Logan really wouldn't have changed anything if these people had enough weapons to wipe out Xavier, who could shut off your brain with a thought, and
That's true.
Colossus and everybody else, right?
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Like, they should have been able to manhandle him super easy, and he should have been in a vat of cement at the bottom of a river.
Oh, that's a terrible fate.
Yeah. But like, also Cassandra's motivation, I'm still not buying that. Deadpool's whole thing with the woe is me. I really want to matter, and I really want to put a dent in the universe.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But it's still, I mean, I feel bad. I don't feel bad, but I still feel a little bit guilty because I still enjoyed this a lot, because it's still like a pretty great buddy movie. And I think a lot of that is because Hugh Jackman, to your point, is a great actor.
Yeah.
And he does have great chemistry with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the cameos. I enjoyed the shit out of all the cameos. And I don't know. Yeah. I liked all the 80s music, like that Lose Control and what do you call it? The Iris and Like a Prayer. I really enjoyed all that stuff.
Is Iris 80s? I thought that was 90s. But whatever. I get what you're saying.
It might have been 90s. Yeah.
The old people music.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to ranking the Rotten Tomatoes scores. With all critics, it's 78%. With all the audience, it's 92%. It drops for the critics to 62% when it's just the top ones. And the verified audience goes up to 92%. So all that makes sense. It's a little bit down from when we did the quick take, actually. The critics had it at 79%, now it's 78%. And the audience had it at 97%, now it's 92%.
Ooh. That's still too high.
I agree. Okay. I'm always surprised when I think that we're going to be so far apart, and like you're saying all the things I'm thinking. So
no, I'm surprised you're defending this as much as you are.
I hate myself for it. Don't worry. In the quick take, you said it was a comic book nerd's wet dream and the ultimate buddy flick. Yeah, I think you stand by the ultimate buddy flick thing, but do you stand by the rest of that?
I do, because it is like all of the Wolverine variants, which I loved. All of that, it is a definite gargling of the balls for these comic book nerds, because, like, to your point, who would have caught a lot of that stuff except for the nerds that have read all of those different story arcs? And that's, to me, fine. I just wish there was a better story tying it all together.
Yeah. Yes.
Like Quantum Mania would have ranked higher if it did do any.
Yes.
It did do more of that.
Exactly. So I had a few more just ranking related thoughts. There was some really great acting and characters here. Cassandra Nova sells it as a great villain. She's not Thanos or Shu Wenwu level, or even the High Evolutionary, but I think she's great, even though she's basically just evil for the sake of being evil. I really enjoyed her in this. Her character, I really enjoyed the actor as well.
Yes.
In the quick take, I said that Nice Pool is one of my favorites. I stand by that. I think I like him third best after Logan and Cassandra Nova. He's got his flaws, but he was still funny to me. And then Hugh Jackman steals the show. He's phenomenal in this. Like in Endgame and Infinity War, where I'm always amazed at how serious and how well the actors do with delivering like comic book material, which could easily sound ridiculous. He delivered on that level. He's also a really good counter to Ryan Reynolds' like incessant snark. And it wouldn't work if they were both doing a shtick. Not that Wolverine has ever been like that, but then kind of like on the downside, Deadpool and Wolverine, to me, it's junk food, which I like junk food. Don't get me wrong, but you can't make a meal out of it. So Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War, those are all pretty well-balanced meals. This just left me feeling bleh after my third watch. Similar to No Way Home, it seems like there's a lot of fan service, right? It's fan service to the movie.
Endgame was more like an awesome steak dinner at a Michelin star restaurant.
Yes. Well, that's why it's still number one.
Yep.
I feel like the movie relies too much on exposition, too much telling rather than showing. That there's entire scenes dedicated to that purpose. And for recapping other MCU movies, because Marvel doesn't trust the audience to have seen them already, or to be able to remember them, or to be able to just pick up on things like little hints. I also feel like the Time Ripper is just kind of a goofy MacGuffin to have a plot here. I think you actually said that earlier, something similar anyway. And, multiple rewatches, while it's cleared up some of the issues that I've had, unfortunately, much of the rest of the movie doesn't really hold up to the repeated viewings. I enjoy it less every time I watch it. It feels like a lot of the jokes are set up for shock value and surprise. And once you've seen it one time, it doesn't have the same impact on successive viewings. And I think I'm just tired of Ryan Reynolds. Just this on-screen version of him anyway. I mean, more than once I would just wanted him to shut up. And I've been a long time Ryan Reynolds fan. Like I even like Blade 3 mostly because of him. I thought he was like really entertaining in that. And I know a lot of people do not like that movie and they do not like him in it. But the shtick is getting old.
It's funny. I liked that little thing with Blade where he was like, "I never liked you," and he goes, "I know."
I know. That is pretty good. That's a good fourth wall break.
It totally is.
If you know the story. And then kind of lastly, and my final thoughts of it, in the quick take, I was pretty hung up on it being MCU and I didn't think it should. And obviously I think I mentioned this a few times already. It just should not be MCU. And that is, I would rank it higher if it wasn't, I think.
I mean, do you think they made it as a, hey, like, let's make sure that we kill the multiverse thing by making this the final multiverse thing because this is why it's so ridiculous.
But it's not the final. That's supposed to be wrapped up in Doomsday, isn't it? And
yeah,
there's it's clearly for not Final Fantasy.
Different movie and game.
Fantastic Four First Steps is going to be multiverse, right?
That's fair, yeah.
Which I'm fine. Like if it's just like a little bit of the setup for the movie, that's fine. But like when it's too much. So anyways, I in terms of tiers, again, like if it wasn't MCU, I think I'd probably say that this is like, 7 out of 10, high C tier, maybe B. But for MCU, I think it's D tier.
Oh, okay.
I even toyed with
you
F
almost
tier.
Surprised me there.
Well, I would kind of wanted to make it F tier because I feel that strongly about it not being MCU. But A, I know you wouldn't go along with that. And B, I would rather rewatch this than either of the F tier movies. So
wait, you actually like this better than worse than Iron Man and The Dark World? I still feel like 3? I didn't like.
Okay, so that is wherein my problem lies. Is like I want to rank it low because I don't think it should be MCU. But A, that's not really fair, and B, there are some worse movies than it that are in the D tier.
Right.
So
I would say at the very least, it's enjoyable. To your point, it's popcorn.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So don't use that term with me.
I forgot you don't like popcorn.
I also stand by this. This is a distant third for Deadpool movies for me. But what was I saying? So in the quick take, we talked about maybe where it might fall. Obviously, it wasn't. So we had said we didn't do tiers at the time. You said below Iron Man 1. I said above.
It's definitely below Iron Man.
Yes, I said above Iron Man 2. So that put it in the range of 10 to 14 at the time. Okay, none of the movies that are currently now in the C tier, none of those were movies that we had covered yet.
Right.
So I think on revisit here, I think you should go first with an opening rank number. I think you're going to be way too high, and I think that I'm going to be way too low for you.
I do think now that I'm listening to you, well, you shocked me first when I thought that you said that you thought it was going to be in the B tier, and I almost spit my coffee out.
No, that's if it wasn't MCU. I would say it's a B tier, maybe B tier. I said high C, but maybe low B.
Right. But then you shocked me again with you thinking it was going to be in the F tier if you did include it in the MCU, because I do think that there are way, way worse movies in the MCU right now.
I'm not pushing for F tier. I am saying probably high D tier, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Because I believe it actually is the lowest C tier movie, and it's right behind. To me, it's the new 26, right underneath Far From Home. but it's also better than Spider-Man 2 to me.
Okay, I think we are in agreement, except I'm saying D tier. I'm saying it's the highest D tier.
Oh, okay.
So, I think we're agreeing on the place. So I said, definitely better than Ant-Man sequels. I don't want to rank it this high, but I think it is better than the D tier movies, but I still think that it is D tier. So I would put it above Iron Man 2. So
what determines C versus D then?
Quality.
But to your point, if we're talking about your previous criteria of how important it is to the MCU, this movie does bring in the mutants and Wolverine into the MCU, which is a huge thing.
That's fair. Okay. But I don't like that it is MCU. I think it's more harm than good.
Yeah.
And especially with your point, I'm going to use your own words against you with your point about Logan taking place in 2029. Like that's definitely a check in the negative column there. So
yes, I'm not saying anything, but inconsistency, I'm totally still there.
So wait, let me just make sure that we are agreeing on a number. I think we agree on a number, just disagree on C or D. Okay, so you're saying it's new number 26, right? Below Far From Home?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah. But I say D tier, you say C tier. I think we should just play for the tier then.
All right.
Yeah?
I'm good with that, yeah.
If you win and you decide you want to rank it higher, that's on me. This could all be a ruse, and vice versa. If I win and I decide to rank it lower, but I think I'm pretty locked in on 26. I don't think I would do that,
Okay.
but I think I would call it D tier.
In my defense, I think it's because I enjoyed certain parts as much as I did. That keeps it in C.
Yes, I just feel like more of it bothered me than it did bother you. Anyways, okay, so all right, let's read.
It's so funny we arrive at the same place.
That is really weird. I thought we were going to be so far apart on this. I thought we were going to be like B, maybe A. So, especially with what we were texting back and forth. Anyways,
yes.
let's read.
I really thought you liked this more than you liked this more on the rewatch.
Well, I was trying to lead on that. Well, you said something about like, so your thoughts haven't changed, and I said no, I didn't say that, and I was hoping that you would think that I liked it better, which you did, but I did not. I fooled you again. Anyways, all right.
It's the meme thing I texted you with the horse and the drawings, and then
Right.
I was like, oh,
because I didn't get it because I thought Deadpool 2 was good.
yes.
Okay, let's read, and then we will play Trivial Pursuit,
Alrighty.
Infinity Saga, Poker. I got that all mixed up, but whatever.
And I'll tell you who her is. Cassandra Nova, a megalomaniacal psychotic asshole. A finger-licking, dead inside pixie slab, a third-rate dime store nut milk. And I'll tell you what she can do.
I'm listening.
She can lick my goddamn cinnamon ring clean and kick rocks all the way to bald hell. In fact, I don't give a shit if she removes all my skin and pops me like some nightmarish blood balloon. If the last thing I do in this godforsaken cum-gutter existence is light that box on fire, I still won't die happy.
Holy shit, girl, you crazy.
That's right, Wade. I won't be happy until I've urinated on her freshly barbecued corpse and husk charred remains while gargling juggernauts jugging nuts.
Wow.
And you can quote me.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm ready when you are.
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay, it is your turn. Yeah, it is your turn to bid first.
I bid 3.
Okay,
So how does this work? You need to bid 4?
I'm gonna outbid you. I'm trying to decide.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 4. I'll go with 4.
Okay.
That's safe. Are you gonna go with 5 and try to? Was this?
No, I'm
all
gonna
a
go with
joke?
3.
Okay. All right. So I will send you the answers because, like, I was trying to decide if you were trying to lowball, so I would go a little bit higher, and then you could then outbid me because I don't think I would go 6. But anyways, all right. I'm gonna send you the things. What did I say? I said 4.
You said 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about 4. All right.
Oh man. Okay.
Give me a second.
You do have a better memory than me, so it's possible this is the new D tier.
Well, you remember crazy things that I would have no idea, but I do feel like I remember a lot of these. This does seem like it's up my alley. All right, answers are coming to you.
All right. Let's see. Oh man, I totally forgot that. So, and question 1: What award did Tony Stark win that Obadiah Stane has to accept for him in Vegas?
I think I know this one because it always reminds me of like Half-Life. Isn't the company in Half-Life Apogee? Which is the same as this award. This is like that stuffy rich people award.
It is the Apogee Award. You
Okay,
are correct. That's one of one. I totally forgot that one.
I'm nervous.
All right. This is going to be another Incredible Hulk thing.
Yeah.
What type of rock does Korg say he is made of?
I want to say perishable.
Oh my God, how'd you remember that? I totally
Because
forgot
that's
that.
like a hilarious line. He's like, I'm made of rock, perishable rock. I'm sure my South African accent is terrible. Is that right?
Well,
is it perishable?
You
or
were
is
right. It is
okay.
perishable. I wrote Crononite.
Oh, thanks for the answer. On the next one. I was pretty sure on that.
Okay. So you already knew that the next question, which was what type of alien is Korg?
I wasn't sure if it was Cronin, because I think Cronin is also a currency. And then I wasn't sure if it was Cronin or Cronor, but I think that's the drug that's in Snowpiercer.
Ooh, I don't know.
I will say maybe on that one, because you kind of gave it away. If I get 4 legit, then we won't count that one.
Yeah, if you get 4 legit, it doesn't matter. I didn't realize I was giving you that. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, you kind of knew it.
Yeah.
What metallic color? Oh, this was easy. What metallic color are the highlights of Eric Killmonger's Black Panther suit and helmet?
Okay, I'm a little more confident now because you said it's easy, but I was saying gold.
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was gold or yellow, or if I was way off.
No, it was gold. What is another name? Wait, so what are you? You're at 3
I'm
for
at 3.
You're potentially 4 for 4, but already at 3 for 4.
Right. Oh yeah, I guess I'm technically
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 for 3.
What is another name for the Frost Giants?
Okay, pretty sure they're from Jotunheim. I want to say that they're Jotuns.
That's right.
Okay, sweet.
So you're at 4 already.
All right.
And you for sure have this one. What type of code does Natasha Romanoff use to contact Clint Barton when Ultron captures her?
Morse.
Is that you using SOS? You using Morse code to say SOS, to do SOS? Yeah, then I guess this is the new king of D tier, because you definitely win.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with... I think I'm feel like people are going to be mad if I stick in D tier. So I know I'm like, should I put it in C tier so people aren't mad?
Well, maybe have courage. Stick with the courage of your convictions. Okay,
well, either way, it's the new that makes Deadpool and Wolverine the new number 26. And yeah, I think it's D tier. Sorry guys, don't be mad at me. Don't unsubscribe. I'm not perfect. I did want to say I
still agree with you on the number, so
yeah, I did want to say that I had prepared to settle on a number, because I was like, I could maybe go as high as just above Hulk, because anything to bring that movie down.
I really pulled a fast one on you with that one, huh?
Yes. That's it for Deadpool and Wolverine. Next up will be a Series 2 MCU adjacent movie with George's pick, Meet Joe Black, from November 2nd, 1998. Then we will get to the next Series 1, Captain America Brave New World. That is streaming already, so we should be able to do that one. If you want to contact us, you can email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. We also have links there to our socials and a couple ways that you can help support the show. Please leave us a review and help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell some variants, and scream it into the void. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.
Bye.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidy of Corporation Johnny. Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.
All right, so we've been going 2.5 hours. Do you want to try to speedrun The Last of Us finale? It's only one episode, so it shouldn't be as long as last time. Or do you need to go?
Sure. No, I mean we can speedrun it.
Okay. All right. So first of all, I kept calling Jesse. So I listened to what we talked about in the last, like kind of after show stuff. I kept calling Jesse Justin, Jason, and Jeremy. I guess this time I'm calling Vanessa, Veronica, and a bunch of other B names, right?
Right.
So anyways, apologies to that character for messing his name up so many times. I'll try to get it right here. I thought it was interesting that, if I didn't mention it already, we're talking about the finale for Last of Us Season 2. By now, you've probably seen it. If not, spoilers ahead. I did think it was interesting that when I went to go watch it, the screen cap and the description, they were not taking any chances with spoilers. It was like the most generic description about the show, like, like a fungus takes over the human race and people struggle to survive or whatever. It was like not at all related to the episode. I wish I'd taken a screenshot of it, but I did not. And they've since changed it and made it a little bit more relevant, but still not a spoiler. Hang on a second. My wife texted me. Oh boy, that's a long text.
Was it? You take so long with these podcast recordings.
Yeah, I usually don't take this long, but okay. Let me just, no problem. All right. I also, the scene where Jesse, got his name right, he pushes the arrow through Dina's leg to get it out. That was pretty brutal. I like that. And then Ellie comes in. What if she's carrying spores? Right? She was in that basement breathing them in from the previous episode. Right. I know she's not infected, but she
could be on her clothes, right?
Yeah, or in her lungs, and she like cough them out on people. I don't know. I guess clearly that didn't happen, but
yeah, clearly she wasn't concerned when she went up to a pregnant woman and breathed all over her.
Exactly. I thought there was another great artistic choice to have no sound when Ellie's telling Dina how easy it was for her to hurt Nora and make her talk, and they kind of flash back to Ellie beating her, but there's no sound. That was cool. Oh, and then she decides she's going to tell Dina about how she knows that she's, or how she knows that Joel killed all those people who were going to develop a cure from her. And then I couldn't tell if Dina was mad at her or not, or at least how mad she was at her.
I think she was pretty pissed. That was the feeling I got, was that she was really pissed. And I think she gets why Joel did what he did, but she was still mad because that's why she lost her family.
Yeah.
That's why everybody lost their family. That's why they are where they are now.
Yeah. I guess it was a kind of a simmering rage. She was pretty,
I think it's just one of those
quiet.
First impressions, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to process it. Yeah.
I thought it was funny when Ellie and Jesse are talking later on. They're walking, and he's like, I know she tells you things. She doesn't tell me like how she's pregnant. And Ellie's just like, oh, you know, huh? And I was like, come on, you had to know he was guessing. Right. Come on.
And he goes, now I know.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, shit.
Let's see. Oh, they have a scene at a Costco. Do you think Costco paid, or did they have to pay Costco for that?
I'm pretty sure that they probably had to pay Costco.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, man. It was the Wolf headquarters, right?
Yeah.
And then in that scene, Jeffrey Wright was making the case for Abby to be the new Wolf leader if he and Park both die, which made a lot of sense from what you said about the next season potentially revolving around Abby. Although they didn't die, though, as far as we know.
Yeah. Also, I still don't get it. Why would they have a hard time against the what? I forget the name of the scars.
The Seraphites.
The Seraphites, yeah.
Which is an interesting one because every time I type Seraphites, autocorrect changes it to Saprophytes. And a saprophyte is a fungus that lives off of something dead. So just an interesting, interesting coincidence there. I thought it was good attention to detail when Park says that it'll be dark by 2130. So I was like, ooh, I got to check that. The season started on New Year's Eve, right? And then they flash forward 6 months after episode 2. So now it's like June. And sunset in Seattle, Washington in June is after 9 p.m. And there's probably a little bit of daylight for a bit after. So that was very accurate. They had to know I was going to check. I kind of felt like Ellie was making the wrong call, wanting to go to the wheel when Tommy was potentially in trouble, right? Jesse wanted to go find Tommy and help him, and she's like, no, I got to go help Abby. And you know, he's right in this case anyway. He's right that she's doing this for herself, right?
Yep.
But it's not always the case, but I don't know. So then, yeah, she goes and gets in this rickety little motorboat in high seas. There's no fucking way I would get in that thing, man. Not
right.
No, not in a storm,
especially with all that gear.
Yes. Not in a storm, relying on lightning strikes to guide your way. No, thank you. And then, then the boat capsizes, and I guess she's able to swim to shore or something, I guess. And the Seraphites catch her, and they're gonna hang her and presumably disembowel her. But then, like, there's some horn. She gets saved by the horn.
Yep.
And somebody yells
explosions too.
Yeah. Somebody yells the village, which I don't know. I thought maybe that was important, but they just it's not important to this season. They just run off and they leave her. So I feel like that whole side tangent wasn't necessary. Her getting captured for a moment. I'm not sure what the purpose of that was. But other than that, I think that was like my only real negative point on this episode.
Oh, earlier when Jesse and Ellie are talking and he's like, let's just get out of here so I can we can get back to, I forget where their fort was.
Not Jackson.
Not Jackson. Well, basically, let's get out of here because I have a baby I need to live for. That's when I knew he was dead.
Oh yeah. I accidentally spoiled it for myself when I was searching something about him. I was searching for the actor and then it wasn't even like he died, his character dies in the season finale, but it was something like, will his character die in the season finale like he gets killed in the game? And I was like, oh, he's going to die. Oops.
Yeah. Which is too bad. I liked him.
Yeah, I did too. There is one shot where Ellie is pointing a flashlight down a corridor, and there's all the pipes running down that corridor, and she's flashing it kind of towards the camera, and all the wet pipes light up, and it's just like these lines, it looks like these lines radiating out from the middle. I thought that was a really cool shot. I don't know if that was specifically meant to look like that, but it was cool. I liked that. I also liked that Ellie employs the same lie detecting plan that Joel had when she catches Mel, and I don't know the guy's name, but
Owen, I think.
Huh? Owen, yeah.
Was it Owen?
Yeah. So she tells Owen to point at the map, and then he's like, she better point to the same spot, right? So Joel taught her well. That was a good callback. And that was a hell of a shot she had, killing Owen and then clipping Mel in the neck with the same shot.
Two people with one shot.
Yeah, that was pretty unbelievable. It wasn't like I wasn't like, oh, I can't believe that happened, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
And then I was worried that, so Mel was like, you got to cut the baby out. Like, obviously Ella didn't know that she was pregnant. But it turns out that Mel was pregnant. She's like, I have like literal seconds to live, if not, or minutes to live, if not seconds. She's like, you got to cut the baby out. And she starts talking Ellie through how to do it. And I was worried that Ellie was going to do it and it was going to be successful and it was going to be dumb. Like, I don't want to see a fetus or a baby die, and they don't show it either. Like, she never cuts it out. She is kind of like too in shock to do anything. And then Mel dies and it's too late at that point. But I was a little worried that she was going to like get out of there with an alive baby. And I was like, I don't know if that's, realistic enough for me.
Yeah.
So
that was a good call that they did it like that. Cause I was definitely like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah. So it was pretty tragic. I don't know if that happens in the game or not, but that's pretty tragic, but it makes for a better story. And I'm sure it's going to have implications in season 3 because Ellie's going to be taking care of Dina's baby, I'm sure, helping to take care of it. And that's going to be weighing on her. I mean, I wouldn't even want to have like an adult's death on my conscience, but that's rough. That's not going to feel good. Yeah. And so there's what happens at the very end. Abby
finds them.
Yeah, Abby finds them all, and I presume she shoots Abby. She's pointing the gun at Abby and shoots, and then it kind of goes black, right? So Abby points the gun at Ellie and shoots, and it goes black. So I don't think Ellie's dead, but is she dead?
I'm pretty sure she's not.
Right? Okay.
But we also don't know if she actually shot, or maybe it was Tommy that took a shot.
Yeah. Creative editing there.
Yeah.
But then I was even more confused because it's like day one, and it shows Abby like getting up. And I was like, but which day one is it? Because they've used day one more than like there was like day one for like the 6 days, whatever, that they were in Seattle.
Right.
But it's not day one from the beginning of season one, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not expecting to know the answer. I was just like totally confused.
Yeah.
And the podcast that they do about it did not clear that up. So that was a hell of a cliffhanger for me. I both hate and love the show at that point. But
Yeah. I mean, I still love the show. I just was not a fan of that episode.
oh, really?
That was probably the weakest episode for me.
Huh. That's fun. Interesting. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think the 5th episode was weakest for me. I liked it a lot, and probably not as much as the previous one, but it was good. And it was by far not as good an episode as the season 1 finale.
Yeah.
So I'm just
the season 1 finale was like a gut punches with how strong it was.
Yeah. I'm just curious as to where they're going to go with this, because there's not a Last of Us 3 yet. I wonder if that's in production. I feel like we would have heard about it if it was, and if they're going to try to kind of co-produce the two things or what. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like as long as they get the same writers who wrote the games, right, it should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So overall for me, great episode, great finale. I feel like it was missing something. Like it could have used a musical performance.
Another one.
Just kidding.
From Abby this time.
Yes. Like she's really bummed out after potentially killing
Yes.
Ellie. Has to sing a song about it.
She could do the Nobody Knows song from what's the name of that Star Wars parody?
I don't know. Oh, yes.
With Dark Helmet
Yes. Oh, that's gonna bother me now.
from Mel Brooks.
Everybody
remember it.
Everybody hates us now. We can't remember that movie.
How do we not remember that?
Spaceballs.
That's right. Spaceballs.
I was like, it's not like Wars something, but yeah, Spaceballs.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, that's it, I guess. I will catch up with you later.
Yep.
Upload your local when you have a chance, and
Will do.
I'll let you know how it sounds.
So my audio right now sounded okay this whole
Yeah,
time.
it's good. It's a little
Okay.
bit low, but I'm not concerned about it, especially with the local recording. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Cool,
I'll
man.
upload it.
I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.